Bonjour to everyone. Welcome back to True Footy. I hope I'm live now. Hope everything's coming through. How is everyone? Let us know in the chat. How you going? As we fire up for this first Big Bash game. Brisbane Heat, Melbourne Stars. Labuschagne's playing. Kawaja's playing. Michael Neese's playing. I didn't expect that. I thought he was going to be tied up. But yeah, I obviously missed that. We're pretty much in time for ball one now. Melbourne Stars elected to field. And hang on, actually I'm a little bit behind here. I'll wait until the first ball, then I'll skip ahead. But let us know in the chat how you going. We got a couple. We got EKV8 Productions. Hello, mates. And hello, Superhero Risers. It's about to kick off, guys. Ollie Stone's opening the bowling by the looks. G'day, Milo Coop. Welcome, mate. Ooh. Oh, my goodness. That was actually very close to being caught first ball. Gee whiz. Can you imagine that? Kawaja, gets his one game in the BBL and then gets caught from a leading edge first ball. That would have been funny. Matt is a legend. Hello, mates. Who's you doing? No one at the moment. But very keen to tune into this Big Bash opener. We got 10 in the chat, guys. Hello. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. Second ball's a dot. I'm going to skip ahead. I'm a little bit behind. Thanks, Milo Coop. Appreciate you, mate. If there's anyone out there who could chuck a like on the video, that'd be great on the stream. It'd be helping out the performance of the channel for sure. So a pretty good start here from Ollie Stone. Looks like he beat the bat with that third ball. Oh, dropped. KO just kind of froze for a second right as that happened, so I need to see the replay. Rogi's in the chat. Welcome, mates. Once more. G'day, unbranded. 15 in the chat, guys. Welcome. Chuck a like on the stream if you can. That was a tough catch. He didn't quite get his hands in there in time. As is often the case with catches. So a very good start here from Ollie Stone. Munro opening the batting with Kawaja. Who's going to win today, guys? Get your predictions in. Kawaja is playing dangerously. Yeah, just a whole stack of edges and unconvincing hits. Munro tries to whack one over mid-wicket first ball. Perfect first over for Ollie Stone, other than perhaps a wicket. I don't even know anything about Ollie Stone, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still learning. G'day, AFL legend. Oof. Skips down the wicket, but dot ball, 3 off the over. Great start. So I'd say the Brisbane Heat are the favourites, right? Brisbane came second last year, the runners up, and the Stars came last. But again, the squads are so different. Matt as a legend's going for the Stars. Good start so far. 1 from 40 overs overall. Rogi's showing some Melbourne love. That's good, mate. Oh, dude, Rogi, I gotta recommend something. Have you seen... Bear with me. I'm going to try and find the name on YouTube. Basically, I found this YouTube channel that deep fakes Star Wars. It's a comedian called Charlie Hopkinson. Just let me know if you've seen it. It's on YouTube. Unreal. Anyway, back to the cricket for now. As Joel Paris, West Australian, comes into the attack. Recruited from the Hobart Hurricanes, if I'm not mistaken. Got 21 in the chat, guys. Let us know who you think is going to win. Again, not the most convincing shot from Kawaja, but it's whipped off his legs for 4. I mean, it was in the gap. It just wasn't perfectly timed. Milo's going for... reckons the Stars are going to win. Oh, it's 8 a.m. here in the UK. And this walk to get this coffee was miserable. Like, it's dark for a start, like pitch black, or was. At like 7:30, as Kawaja lofts it over third man. Is it going to make it to the boundary? It is not. Yeah, Rogi. Essentially, he deep fakes it so that it's Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin watching the Star Wars prequels together and just like taking the piss out of each other. Some of the coolest stuff I've seen on YouTube, and genuinely funny. Genuinely funny. I've watched 2 of them. They literally just sit there watching the whole film. But it's, yeah, comedic. There you go, Superhero Rises in India. Whereabouts? Whereabouts are you joining us from? Good to have you, mate. So Kawhi just scored all 10 runs so far, and Munro only faced the two balls. EKV8 reckons the Brisbane Heat. Yeah. You'd imagine they're favourites, but early days. Anything can happen in T20 cricket, TT cricket. That's how they're going to abbreviate it next. Good shot through mid-wicket there by Munro. Bit of a swipe. So Joel Paris has been expensive after a good Ollie Stone first over. $11 off 4 balls here from Paris. Not ideal. Oh, that was a better ball. Had him fishing outside the off stump. Heat to win, Spencer Johnson to run through the Stars. Could happen. Could happen. I'll have a look at the lineups. Just having a look at what you can see here. Okay, it does have the score at least. That's something. I wonder if I can do this better. Bear with me. $16 off 2 overs. Pretty solid start for the Heat after, 3 off the first, 13 off the second. Rogi says, it's been funny watching you praise the Renegades list when I'm fully expecting us to be mediocre again, just never confident. Yeah, fair enough. They've won it before, haven't they? They've won the title a few years back, right? I'm not imagining that. But the squad's good. I think, yeah, Clark, is that who's in for them? I've done so much content the last few days, and I've profiled so many teams that I've already forgotten exactly which players moved where, but Joe Clark went to Renegades, didn't he? It's all starting to blur. Like, I was looking at the lineups for the Prime Minister's 11 game, and I was like, okay, which players should be playing BBL? And I was like, oh, Nice is not in that team. Steketee, and I was like, where did Steketee go again? It was one of these 2 teams. Was it Melbourne? I could just find out. Matt says, we got our 2 Ogden back. Scotty Boland and Sam Harper. Yeah, Boland, I don't know how much you'll see of Boland though. Yeah, the Stars have been a bit of a choking hazard. That's not the right phrase, but you know what I mean. Oh, just over the top of the infielder. And that's Kawaja moves to 14. Oh, geez. I like Ogden. Decent shot there from Kawaja. Still probably finding his timing. I don't think that was perfectly timed. 14 off 9. Sort of squirted through third man. That's a gross phrase. Why did I say that? Clark to Renegades, Stecker to the Stars. Thank you. I had a feeling those were my guesses. Like I said, though, I did 4... I think I did 6 videos a couple of days ago in one day. And then I did like 4 yesterday or something. Because there's some pre-prepared for coming up. Superhero Riser says, do you guys watch IPL? I haven't watched IPL for years. I used to be a Kings 11 Punjab fan. When does the tournament start? I've lost track of the IPL completely. It used to be like the hottest thing when it started. Certainly in the Middle East, because a lot of my friends were from India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. And the ICL, I remember that was a thing briefly. That was cool too. Anyway, happy with anyone but Sixers and Scorchers to win it. Is that because they're just kind of boring teams at the moment? Kind of like if it was a Collingwood-Brisbane grand final, or not that you would care about that, but is that why, or do you just not like those teams on top of that? Oh, good slower ball there. Mistimed it. It's going to be outside off. They're appealing for LBW. Just the one review available. I don't think they should review that. But I'm really... Well, I've been notoriously bad at picking what's out in real time. It's because I'm like only half watching some of the time. But I'm not streaming, that is. Yeah, that's well and truly outside off. That's hitting me outside the line, surely. But either way, it'll be... Umpires call it best. Gotcha, Rogie. Yeah, that's fair logic. Perth have had it pretty good. It's been a good team, obviously, since the start. It would be kind of boring for other teams for us to win. Matt is a legend, has posted a lineup for us. Thanks, mate. That's the Brisbane Heat team. So, who captains Brisbane in the absence? Would be Nisa? Because Kawaja's captain today. What's the point of making Kawaja captain for one game? That's true, Superhero Rise. The Champions League of Cricket, that did exist a few years ago. Yeah, Perth won it, I thought. I feel like Perth won it in South Africa. I could be wrong on that. I could be making that up. It was... Was it... There was certainly a Champions League where the Marsh brothers got in trouble for getting drunk, like during the tournament, because it was I think it was Mitch's 21st birthday. So this must have been like 2012. Big swing and a miss from Munro. Maxwell into the attack. But I feel like Perth actually won the Champions League. Wasn't it like a Perth-Sydney grand final? Bo Webster is not playing, right, Riley? He's playing in the Prime Minister's 11 game. Yeah, true, Rogie. The time difference makes a difference. When I was in the Middle East, it was a bit easier to watch. Imagine the Stars swerve and open with Stoinis and Maxwell. That would be cool. Some fireworks there. Mind you, I feel like whenever I talk about Stoinis, it's all about potential. It's been a while since he really kicked off, right? It's 2 p.m. in India. Yeah. It is 8:30 a.m. where I am. Or leg buys. That should be. That could go all the way. And does. Unfortunate. Sydney won it in 2012. Thank you, Superhero. Yeah. We made the final then, Perth. I presume. I'm pretty sure we made the final that year. Could be making that up. First time I'm hearing about the Champions League thing, wouldn't there be conflicting lineups with so many players playing multiple leagues? Yeah. I don't know how true that was back then. I feel like that did come up, though. I feel like they obviously just had to pick one. And squads would be like vastly different to the team that won their respective league, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it was a logistical issue, but the tournament definitely happened. That's a decent 6. These boundaries look small. Hard to really tell. But Munro's whacked it. This is a good start for the Heat after that first over. Stoinis 147. God, that's crazy. I remember that innings against New Zealand in those one days. That would have been like 2016, 2017 maybe, where Australia nearly came back and won, but Hazelwood got run out. Oh, that was a silly shot. I don't know if Maxwell saw him coming, dropped it short, but Munro's tried to reverse flick a pretty short delivery. Compensation system, I believe. There you go, Riley. Coming in with the facts, mate. Appreciate it. Munro's, yeah, he's middled that. 43 off 4 overs. So can anyone confirm the power play used to be 6 overs? Is it 4 overs now? Yeah, it is. Okay, the commentator just said it. I'm watching this on KO Sports. Matt is a legend. Oh, just imagine that in that first over they had a drop catch and a thick edge that could have easily gone to backward point. When are your next AFL team videos coming out? Says the Laughing Magpie. Look, mate, I've got 2 already done for tomorrow. I've got Geelong and Fremantle coming out. I just didn't upload any today because I needed to get my season previews out for BBL, and I was like, should I upload 5-6 videos in a day and a live stream? Probably not. So I just gave it a day. They'll be back, and then I'll probably just keep going with them until I finish. So my next one to do is Essendon. I haven't started that yet. And then Collingwood, Carlton, Brisbane, Adelaide. And then what? Give me some ideas. Could do 22 under 22s, but that's so hard. That is a lot of research. Still could be useful though. That'd be funny. Matt is a Legends on 7+. Sports Nut. Hopefully the BBL becomes more exciting this year. I didn't really follow it that closely last year, so I couldn't compare the excitement, but it did have a pretty good finish. Riley says it's the power surge. There we go. Thank you, mate. Yeah, true, Cameron. Coulter Niles into the attack. Cartwright got a shield ton last week. True. And Kawaja and Harper. There you go. So some informed players, you reckon? If we could chuck a like on the stream, guys, that would be much appreciated. Helps me in the algorithm. Thank you very much. We've got 20 in the chat, so I appreciate you. I'm really hoping this BBL content gets me through the summer. But solid start so far. Speaking of solid starts, the Heat are on 46 off 26 balls to start this innings. Rogie, was that your idea, was it? Sorry, Matt. I think I've unconsciously taken that. Thank you for your ideas. Wait. I did shout you out in one video, but I think that was a BBL video. I didn't even remember that was your idea. Sorry, buddy. I appreciate you. You definitely gave me the BBL squads idea. 100%. Cameron Hammond, throwing in some bombs. Connor Iden is better than Isaac Quainer. I'm just going to let Rogie bite at that particular bait. They're both good players. Oh, is that what you meant? You meant the BBL list video? The squads? I did give you credit for that. I did. I mentioned you in that video. I said shout out to Rogue Riot. I must have accidentally edited it out. I'm sure I said it. Speaking of. No, not speaking of at all. I'm going to get some water. Bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves. You mean the footy 22? Okay, my mistake then. I'm confused. I'm also really tired. If I slept last night, I don't remember falling asleep. That's right. I'm going to have a cruisy day today. I've already got 2 videos done for tomorrow, so I might just write scripts and then launch into it Friday. I just lost my connection there for a bit, but I'm back. Looks like there was another boundary. So 56 from 5 overs. This is an ideal start for the Heat. Cool. I was just saying that the wicket's very good and conducive to batting. Even bounce hard. I wonder if I can try and improve this interface. Is that going to be weird? Probably. Yeah, I'll chuck it there. Summer Mears in the attack. I was going to say in the chat. That'd be cool. Imagine that. One day, BBL cricketers are just like logged in as they're playing. Now that's coverage. Oh, I see, Rogie. That's funny. Yeah, well, I found it to be a really helpful exercise. Get more in touch with certain teams, like seeing, in particular, clubs like Richmond and Geelong. Like, I kind of knew from the outside things weren't looking great in terms of the young talent point of view, but then you dig it deeper and they're still not. But that's another misfield and 4. But yeah, getting a bit more of in touch with like Geelong's video, which is coming out tomorrow, was interesting. Like looking at the exact breakdown of their young talent, compiling a 22 under 22 for Geelong. I feel like they do have a lot of younger talents now. It's just that a lot of them are just unknown, unheralded, and a heap of like Geelong Falcons. Rogie loves Connor Iden, but Quaynor wipes. It's not a term I'm used to hearing. Not in that context anyway, if you know what I mean. I need 333 subscribers by the end of the year to hit the goal of 25k. Just thought I'd check and update you for no reason. Riley likes the look of Mir, but reckons he'll get after him later on. Yes, certainly if they have wickets in hand. No wickets in the first 6 overs and more than 10 and over. We're looking at a score of 200 plus here for sure. Yeah, Rogie. Gold Coast was tough. Their backline in particular, I found tricky to pick, like the mediums. Did you have any that come to mind that you had differently? Like, did you have Jed Walter in? Because I wanted to include him, but I think Casbolt probably makes it just on the second ruck thing. Thank you, Milo. Appreciate that. Maxwell got 19 taken off that last over. My God. $63 off 6 overs. The Heat, I predicted them to finish 5th. Not that that means anything. But they'll be happy with this start for sure. Ooh. Pretty good dart there from Maxwell. Saw Munro loading up for another hit over mid-wicket. And he just adjusted at the last minute. Both did. Oh, missed stumping perhaps. Bit of a double grab there from Harper. Munro went large. Tried to go down the ground. Beaten a little bit for pace there. Or lack of pace, I should say. Good start to the over here from Maxwell. It looks like he's sort of targeting darts sort of outside leg stump and short of a length, which doesn't sound great. But so far it's been effective. Uh-oh. Khawaja gets away with one. He top edged a reverse sweep. And he might get 4 runs for it. Nah, it's going to be fielded. There you go, Rogie. Yeah, so Weller's done his ACL, I'm pretty sure. I think I called him Lockie Neal in the video. I did a lot of dumb shit like that. I keep calling Alex Keith and Alex Carey. Like, I keep mixing them up interchangeably. Because both played cricket. Both played BBL for a start. And both, state cricket. And both were on an AFL list. And they're both called Alex. I've always called Alex Keith Alex Carey. That is sweetly middled. And that's caught. First wicket, Maxwell gets out Khawaja, 28 off 19. I could be wrong, because it's a little bit blurry, but it looked like that was the first one in a while Khawaja's actually middled. He just picked out the fielder perfectly. So, the Stars have their first wicket. An important one, and this has been a good over for Maxwell. 1-4-3 off his second over. Yeah, Damick stays ACL. That's true. That's large. Large news. Oh, and he missed the grand final, didn't he? But still, significant. So, 1 for 66 off 7 overs is a kind of a good pullback there from the Stars. Giggity. And Labuschagne comes to the crease. So this could be his only game in the Big Bash, I reckon. Juicebox says, you reckon he'll still be full-time YouTube by the time the footy season starts? That's my goal. It's not tracking amazingly nicely. If I can pull that off, that'd be a crazy achievement. I've got a dollar figure that I need to make to live. I've broken that down per day. I need to make this amount of dollars per day to survive. And I'm trying to hit that number each and every day. That's why I'm working so hard. And I'm kind of loving that process, to be honest. I don't know what's going to happen after my best 22 series finishes. I really need this Big Bash content to take off. Or even just become a third as popular as AFL. That would be a start. If all my videos start getting 200 views though, like some of them have, I don't think I'll be able to survive on that. Still hope for him to get back in 2018. Gold sack. True, did his ACL in March and got back for the final series. I remember that. It's crazy. See you, Matt as a legend. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Appreciate you. Yeah, I gotta try and make. I need to try and make $100 a day on YouTube for December and January, which will involve 7 days of work, all day, every day. So we'll see. I need some more content ideas though. I've got some. But it's tough. Like, I don't want to use up all my pre-season ideas. So that wicket has... Well, even before the wicket, they started to slow their run rate. I probably want to keep Labuschagne on strike. Interesting, Rogie. I reckon Finley McRae in their best 22. I'll bear it in mind. But now I feel like if I put it in there, it's going to look like I just did it. Well, between you and me, it's going to look like I just did it to please you, Brogy. And I do want to please you. But I don't want to be a basic bitch at the same time. So we'll see. It's a good tip, thank you. I do a fair bit of research into what fans are saying for the best 22s. And I ultimately just do what I think is right. But I also reading what fans say is important because you can see if there's overwhelming dislike for how a player finished the season that I might not have seen. Then that's compelling. Do I reckon I'll get burnt out? I suppose it's possible, but at the end of the day, I don't know if you can get... Well, you can get burnt out, but when it's like your need to survive, it's a little dramatic, but when you're talking about making enough money to eat and pay rent, I don't think that burnout will apply. I think that burnout would come a lot quicker if I was just doing this as, purely just a creative project and trying to grow the channel. But now it's also about putting food on the table. So I'm really happy in the grind set at the moment. I think as long as you've got an overarching goal and you're goal oriented, I don't think anytime soon I'll get burnt out. Because if I get burnt out and I have a day off, then I'm just like, okay, I'll have to start buying less groceries. And I like being in this position, but in the short term, I like this challenge that I'm currently in. But at the moment, I'm just getting by. I'd probably feel differently if I was really on the bones of my arse. He'll be around the team, but just reckon he'll fit in to fill up some midfield time that Adam's left. That's true. Tell me about guys like Reef McInnes. I feel like he was highly rated and I just haven't seen him much. What's he up to? Who else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, Reef McInnes, Finlay McRae. Those are among the names that I would be curious about. Oh, Superhero Rises. I think it's probably best you don't get Stark. Stark frustrates the hell out of me. Good player, obviously. He's got the record, but what is it with bowling full tosses at the death consistently? Is he trying to bowl Yorkers? Is it a proven tactic that low full tosses, or even just not even low full tosses? Some of them are waist height. Is that a death bowling strategy? Because I think that sucks, and it routinely gets smacked out of the park. It's not just him who does that, to be fair. Ree's been playing as a third tall in the VFL. He was our leading goalkeeper. Oh, wow, that's pretty good. Okay, so he's tracking all right. How close is he to the team, bearing in mind? Well, as a third tall, with McStay out, I don't know, you could go for a different forward line look. Potentially. You tell me. I know he's not really like for McStay, but he's obviously not too far off being AFL ready. Well, he's also got another, obviously with Ginnivan. Oh, Ginnivan's going to be swapped out for Schultz. Good shot. Labuschagne did really well there to punch it through backward point. Third man gets around and keeps it to a couple runs though. My stream's just a little bit frustratingly glitchy, unfortunately. Who is better, Virat or Smith? That's a good question. I think the last few years Virat's probably had... I haven't followed it closely, to be honest, Superhero. Exactly. When I see Virat, he's in unreal form. And obviously he had a much better World Cup. I think Steve Smith still averages more, right? At least in Test cricket. I don't know. I feel like Virat feels more dangerous than Smith is for us. So I don't have an opinion either way. to be honest. I do like Virat Kohli, to be honest. I know he's an unpopular player to like as an Australian. We generally don't like the players from other countries, opponents rather. That sounded racist. You know what I mean? We just don't like. You wouldn't have an Australian fan who loves England players. So it's unpopular like Virat Kohli, but I actually quite respect him. I respect him quite a lot. I like him. Oh, Rogie, you're the best. Thanks, man. Oh, cheers. You're a legend. That wasn't necessary, but thank you. It was just because I talked about not affording groceries. Appreciate it, Rogie. You're the best, man. Thank you. Now, Asha's in the chat. Welcome, mate. I'm good, thank you. A little sleepy. Rogie's just given a huge boost to my mood, so thank you, mate. How are you, Asha? And still, after all this time, I'm still not 100% sure that I'm saying your name right. Can you just let me know if I'm saying it right? I want to say it right. Because it's Nyasha, Nyasha. That's probably the two possibilities, right? I bet it's a secret third one, but I don't know. 1 for 91 off 9.2. I appreciate it, Rogie. Ooh. This is amazing. I'm going to have to pander to Rogue right more. I'm going to have to start twerking for dollars. In the meantime, Colin Munro's just hit a pretty good 6 down the ground to bring up his 50. Is it short boundaries at the Gabba? I don't know. It feels like short boundaries. Like, it didn't seem like he really got a hold of that, but it's 6 nonetheless. I love just contemplating for a minute. It's funny that I'm like trying to make BBL content and stuff like that is value to people, and then I come in the live streams and I'm just asking you guys questions like, are the boundaries short at the Gabba? Superhero Riser says, I also don't support Australia but don't hate because they've won too much trophy. That's true, yeah. I do think Indian fans, in my experience, are actually very good. Like, they just love cricket so much and they show a lot of respect to the Australian cricket team. In general. Like, there are obviously some exceptions. But yeah, culturally, I think I like the way the Indians like cricket. Or support cricket, rather. Conversely, like, English fans, as much as I love English people, I live here, they're a bit piggish, for lack of a better word, about Australia. And to be fair, most of it's in good nature, to be fair. But some of it's not as well. Some of it's a bit like, how you going? And to be honest, Australian fans aren't any better. This is why when Virat was in Australia a few years ago, and he's given shit to the crowd, and the crowd all turned on him. My first reaction was like, I know what Australian crowds are like. I'm kind of on Virat's side. Also, my little cousins think I look like Virat Kohli when I grow a beard. Which is interesting. By the way, no comments on the lack of mustache. I had that thing for 6 months. It clearly didn't make an impact on this channel. I shaved it. Unless it's on social media, the amount of messages unless it's on social media, the amount of messages a few cricket channels got. I don't know if I'm just tired. I don't understand what that sentence means. Unless it's on social media. What are you referring to there, Rogie? Sorry. I'm slow. I am genuinely very tired. Aus team is the most winningest team in all forms, both men and women. Is that right? Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, actually. I don't know why I'm surprised. 4 World Cups since I've been watching. 4 World Cups since I've been watching, and 6 overall. Virat without the beard. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I only noticed the lack of mustache till you mentioned the beard. Yeah. It's kind of different. It's not as severe as change as going from beard. I had a beard for probably a year, maybe more, if you could call it that. My take on beards. And then when I shaved that was weird. Like, I actually had a face tan line. It looked creepy. I looked gaunt and jaundiced. Looked like a young Severus Snape when I had the mullet still. But the mustache is not as contrasting. G'day Blaze17, welcome mate. Referring to after the World Cup final, Cricket Channel's got some hate messages. Oh, okay. Interesting. What kind of channels? Oh, I see what you're saying. You like from Indian fans? My brain is so slow this morning. What is wrong with me? G'day, Kelly. Lovely content, mate. Very reasonable POV on footy, etc. Thank you. Appreciate that, Kelly. I'm trying now to delve into cricket. And I am a decent fan at cricket. I just had to really acclimatise myself back to the BBL. Like, I've missed a lot of details, and I realised that's probably a product of being a footy-obsessed content creator for 6 years now. That's kind of the timeline where I dipped out of cricket, I think. Just sort of dipped back in for World Cups and the occasional BBL, but now I'm committing to it properly now. Wish Munro was still at the Scorchers. That's true. Well, for context, I had forgotten he was at the Scorchers. G'day, Tiger Time. Welcome, mate. Interesting, Blaze, that you think that. I must admit, when I first started getting into this content, like when I first discovered the BBL on YouTube as a thing, I saw some huge views in it. Like, the highlights videos are getting like 500,000 to millions of views, and I realized that's not going to translate to me straight away. But when you compare that to AFL, how many people are looking up BBL highlights, it's like 10 times higher, if not more. So in theory, I thought there would be some interest, but I'm willing to be patient. I hope I'm using the right keywords as well. Like, is it BBL 13 with a space in between? Is it Big Bash League? I'm kind of just putting in both at the moment. But yeah, we'll see. I think interest will drum up throughout this tournament. You know, I'm sure most people don't care about the BBL until it's actually in front of their eyes. It's a like footy. I support the Stars, but sad to see 2 Pakistanis in the team. Oh, really? I don't know how to respond to that. Tiger Time also loves the Stars. Yeah, the Stars have their fans. I'd be interested to know what the split is between hang on, 6 from Munro. Interesting to see what the split is between Renegade Stars fans as well as Sixers and Thunder fans. I feel like the Stars would have been an easy team to jump on when they started, because did they start with KP and Warren? Like, I felt like they got the better end of the deal, and they get the MCG. And the Sixers probably had the same thing over the Thunder. From memory, I actually don't remember that too well. They had like Brett Lee when it started. I remember when the BBL was first launched, it seemed like the biggest joke. Like, Stewie McGill was in it. From the outside looking in, it looked like a joke. Like Shane Warne, Brad Hogg. Was Matthew Hayden in it? I feel like he might have been. Gilly was in it, wasn't he? Gilly was a scorcher, wasn't he? Can't remember. But then it turned out to be, a pretty cool product. And, a lot of those players played well. Like, Brett Lee was genuinely good in the BBL, as was Warren. I like the Stars, but still support the Gades. Yeah. I wonder I feel like there's more Stars fans. Jack, the preview will be tomorrow on Geelong. Apologies. I just have too much content coming out today. So I thought I'll just let it rest after this, I had 3 videos this morning and a live stream, so it'll be out. I want to say 2 p.m. Melbourne time tomorrow. I think 11 a.m. Perth time. Asith Malinga. Yes, he was for the Melbourne Stars too. Great point. 2016 to 18 BBL will never be matched against that. That was peak. I don't even remember. That would have been the time that I dropped out, I reckon. That was actually around the time I started True Footy for a start. Geordie Pluto says Tom Rogers, the guy from my suburb, disappoints the entire suburb. That's brutal. Pat Cummins was on the Scorchers list. That's right. Good memory. Good memory. God. Like, he wasn't... Like, obviously, he's always had a profile because of his test debut. But he wasn't like this gun. Well, I think he had injury issues, right? So it was kind of still speculative. God. I'm going to check something. Bear with me. I better actually check the score for a start. Where are we at? 1 for 91 off 9.2. Is that what the score's saying up there? Can't see. Wait a minute. What's happened here? I've skipped back a bit. I've skipped back a long way. I was going to say, how are we still in the 90s? We are nowhere near that. This is what happens when I'm trying to do several things at once. We're at 1 for 129. I must have bumped it just then and it skipped back. Munro's on 68. I'm glad I noticed that. I would have just been reliving the same overs again going, gee whiz. Bear with me. The quality of the BBL over the years has gone down. The general consensus is that a bit of a meme league. Is that right? I wasn't sure on the perception of it. I think it's been a pretty cool way to unearth some Australian domestic talent. You know, particularly out of Perth. Well, I like Bancroft, and I suppose he was already known. Aaron Hardy. I suppose he still got the Shield and Marsh Cup, but it's still... Glenn Maxwell was kind of discovered through the... or established through the BBL, right? Mr. Quito says, who do you think is replacing Warner? Their backup options are Bancroft. Oh, wait. I started with the one guy who's probably not going to play. But Bancroft's in there. I presume you're talking about for the Thunder, right? And the other order options are like Ollie Davies, Alex Ross is in there. Alex Hales is in that lineup. Gilks is the weaker keeper, will be in there. Jason Sanga. Other than that, I don't really have a good idea of who the rest of their options are. Chris Green might bat in the top 7. Jeez, this is not massively well, no, it looks pretty one-sided early, but it is cricket. You have to wait for both teams to bat before you can really call. But 131 off 12 overs is, for 1 wicket, is not a great start for the Stars. Yeah, Asha says I like Test cricket more, and Rogie says I like whatever format we win. Yeah. This is unpopular, but my favourite format is ODIs. Like a good ODI World Cup. Give that to me. Serve that to me on a platter with breadsticks. That being said, the Ashes is obviously up there too. Good Test series. T20 I can largely live without, to be honest. That being said, I think it's a good format. It's nice to have something that can be over in 3 or 4 hours. I'm for it. It's just not my preference. Like, if Australia win a T20 series, like, who gives a shit? It could be trashing from the sport. But the BBL is good because there's meaning to it, right? Like, Australia's T20 series against India, like, who cares? It's just... But there is the World Cup next year, a T20 World Cup. Still not as good as the ODI World Cup because there's a little bit of hit and giggle to me, but still. Imagine if Maxwell goes out for Stuffle. I can picture it, to be honest. It just happens sometimes, especially when he's been brilliant. Imagine if Maxwell goes out for Stuffle. Oh. Imagine, I read that as, imagine if Maxwell goes out for stuff. And I was like, are you picturing him doing his shopping? Like, that's my brain. It's letting me down today. Letting me down. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's a big question mark in this game. Like, he has so much confidence at the moment. He's reminding me of, like, Dhoni at the moment. Like, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Like, he lets himself get in and then just knows that everything can be a 6. Mr. Quito asks... Sorry, there's a few questions here at the moment. And the Ashes says, Ashes or Border Gavaskar Cup trophy. He would have been out there. I'd say the Ashes, but I do like the Border Gavaskar tournament series. This is my brain failing me. Because I love, as much as it always ends badly for us, I love watching us try to play in Indian test conditions. I do love how the pitches are always just like a minefield. And we have such a disadvantage. But I love that in a way. I don't like losing the series. But the Ashes is probably the ultimate. Who replaces Warner in Test cricket is the other question. I'm not fully across the other options, but I think, like, who's playing today? I think Renshaw's in that mix is Bancroft. Oops. I'm just trying to get the results of the Prime Minister's 11. I think Renshaw and Bancroft are options. Ooh, just fall short of the wicketkeeper. 20 teams will be playing in next year's T20 World Cup. I know. I'm excited by that. I think it's great. And I'm going to try and maybe even get over to it. Because I got a sister in America and there's 3 games in America. New York, Texas and Florida, I think. And those are all on my list. I've been in New York, but I would like to go again. Imagine just like going to the T20 World Cup in like New York. It's in Manhattan as well. Or Texas, like, be cool as. But also just like the exposure to, other teams, other countries rather, in a big domestic competition. And I think that's what T20's got to be there for. If they're going to make the ODI World Cup more exclusive, open up the T20 to like Kenya and Ireland again. Like, Ireland should be in the World Cup. I'm just trying to... So Marcus Harris made 49 and Bancroft made 53. Renshaw is 18 not out at the moment. So those are probably your main contenders, right? Nice. Good reverse sweep. Yeah, I've seen there's a lot of anti-Warner rhetoric about how he's just going to suck this series. I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case. I think he'll probably tear it up. I feel very confident that we'll make a heap of runs against Pakistan. With all due respect. I agree, superhero. Like, once I got a bit older, I think one of the reasons I lost interest in cricket was the meaninglessness of so many fixtures, which is a bit of a shame. And I think the only way to fix that is making cool domestic tournaments like they have. Like, growing up, the VB series, that's how old I am. The VB series, the first one I ever watched was between Australia, England and Sri Lanka. This was 02/03, and that captivated me because when you're 8 years old, that feels like the most important thing in the world is winning the VB series. And for a start, there's no tri-series anymore in Australia. They scrapped that, so you just get like 5 matches against Pakistan and 3 against the West Indies or whatever it's going to be in one days, if that. If there is even a one-day series in Australia, I don't even know. Oh, nicely done. Labuschagne moves to 28 off 20. Reverse sweeps. They're really using that in this innings. But yeah. But now, like, even if there was like a 5-match one-day series between Australia and Pakistan, Does it really matter that much? I'd still watch that, to be fair. Sam Ryan says, definitely the best to win and the most interesting is ODI or T20 World Cup, Ashes in England and Gavaskar in India. Yeah, a test championship nowadays too. Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I put ODI World Cup over T20 World Cup. I think, for a start, the T20 World Cup's like more often. Yeah, it's hard to take it too seriously. Like, I respect the format for what it's done to the game, for the game. But honestly, like, England winning it, like, I don't care. England winning the ODI World Cup, I did care about. And equally, like, the Australia winning it. That was cool, though. I did follow that T20 series from Abu Dhabi. Or in Abu Dhabi, rather. I was in Perth. But, yeah. Cameron Hammond says, one-day series on Channel 9 in January used to be the highlight of my summer. I agree, man. That was so cool. How old are you, Cameron? I'm just trying to gauge, like, if we really followed the same year. Like, I still remember who we played in each summer, I think. 02-03, England and Sri Lanka. 03-04 was India, Zimbabwe. 04-05 might have been Pakistan, West Indies. 05-06 was South Africa, Sri Lanka. 06-07 was England and New Zealand. 07-08 was Sri Lanka and India, and I reckon I'm probably lost after that. I want to say South Africa and New Zealand was probably 08-09. Fuck, I think I've actually nailed all that. That's crazy. Look at me happy with myself. What's your perspective on the commentary in the grand finals of 06 and 18? Because I found the Channel 7 commentary to be pretty shit. Good question. It's not something I fixated on. Like, I could have done without BT, respectfully. But his commentary was fine. Like, I generally judge it on, like, to what extent they really live for the moment. McAvaney was commentating the final countdown on the clock. And that's really what I care about, because I watched the game at the stadium. So I just go back to look at the big moments now. They got a brand new stadium, a big one. They're going to put a big flag up. I don't know, it's quite meaningless what he's saying. Oh, that is a good catch by Stoinis. As Labuschagne goes for 30. So the contributions from Labuschagne and Kawaja this tournament are 28 and 30. That's solid. Rogi, have you gone through all the different commentaries? I presume you have. Zero energy and full of James Brayshaw going, wowie. Really? That sucks. I feel like I don't really remember the different commentaries in 06. I had the DVD of that game. So whatever it was, I think it was good. We had Hudson. Who would have thought the sequel would be just as good as the original? You can't complain about that. I'm happy with that. The Eagle has landed. They're the premiers in 2018. Yeah, solid. So I didn't have any real thoughts on it, I suppose. Other than BT. Cricket is in the Olympics. That's true. I've never really watched it in the Olympics. Yeah, and they cheated to win that or shouldn't have won it. Sorry, I've lost track of where. Are you referring to England? I mean, they didn't cheat. They just got. It was just luck. Just a crazy, crazy circumstance. Unfortunate. I was a little late to cricket. Started watching when I was 13 in 2013. There you go. Yeah. So very different era, but when you're that age or younger, like the ODI series each summer feels like, I don't know, I love ODIs. The commentary for De Goey's goal to put us in front was dead. The energy didn't fit the moment. Interesting. I'm actually going to go back and check it out, to be honest. and see what you mean by that. See it through your perspective. Give me Hudson commentating a grand final, please. Give Brayshaw and Beto the boot. Hudson is a good commentator. He's a good vibe check commentator. Vibe check. Why did I just say that? Yeah. To be fair, he does get the moment, right? Except for one moment this year. The Eagles were beating the Bulldogs. This was our upset win. One of the biggest upsets of the season. And he's commentating, and Cripps nails like his 4th goal to put his 3 goals in front. And it's funny because when the goal goes through, Hudson's clearly not really concentrating. And he's like, yeah, and then it goes through. And then he realizes he's like not giving it the respect it deserves. And he's like, and the Eagles are starting to pile it on. Like there's just this really dramatic change of tone mid-sentence. It's quite funny. Channel 10 broadcasted the footy with the 5-minute warning. Yeah, I remember that, man. I remember that happened in the 06 grand final. They had the 5-minute warning and all the commentators were just like, oh ho ho, oh ho, oh ho ho. I feel like Robert Walls was one of them. $11 in the chat, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll probably stream semi-regularly, I think. I'm not going to do it every day. Probably do the Scorchers. But it works well at 8:15 for me to get up and fire up a stream. When do the Scorchers play? They play in a couple of days. I think they play... What's today? Thursday. I'll probably do a Saturday one. Which is the Scorchers. Do you think Mitch Marsh should replace D Warner and open with Kawhi just so they can get Cam Green? Interesting call. I'm not sure if he's an Oper at test level, but there'll be others in the chat with a better opinion than me because I'm out of touch. I feel like I've had a sleeping pill, but I didn't. God, I would hate the 5-minute warning, the stress I could not imagine. It was better, though. It was better. And that's the cool thing we sort of lacked now. Knowing how much time left is kind of takes away from it a little bit. Like, I knew how much time was left in 18 because my sister was messaging me. But in 06, I had absolutely no idea. I've experienced too much as a Pies fan the last few years. Yeah, fair play. I wonder how many people, Pies fans, didn't know how long was left, though. Like, at the ground. I'd imagine a vast majority of them. Not many know. You can go on the AFL app, and it will give you the countdown now. Be a bit delayed, for sure. But I don't even know if that was true in 2018. I think my sister was messaging me. Cam Green needs to work on batting against spin, does he? Makes sense. Well, I'd imagine Pakistan will have a pretty decent spinning option. Notoriously good countries from that part of the world always have a good spinner that troubles us, but in Australian conditions, probably not too much. Other than maybe Sydney and Adelaide, are they the spinning wickets? This is a great innings from Munro. Is he 81 or 48? The coverage is a little patchy, it's just dipped out. Footage of Swoop Luke at the siren was funny. He fell over and was bawling it. Really? I haven't seen that footage. I don't suppose you know off the top of your head where I can find that. I would love to see that. I remember on his story he was crying, but I didn't see him fall over, so there's clearly more footage out there. I was exactly the same when we won. I actually liked vicariously living through Swoopy. Like watching that and reliving what it was like for me, because it's very similar circumstances. A very similar game. Well, not really in flow, but, 5 points or 4 points. Oh, what was, 4 points? 4 points. Would have been a similar experience. And Swoopy's a good fella. I was happy for him. Where were you, Rogie? Forgive me if we've talked about this. I don't think we have. What was your 2023 match day experience like? Which game will be better in round 0? Brisbane versus Carlton or GWS Collingwood? I think GWS and Collingwood will be the better game. Pat Kaz, that's right, mate. There is something different. I can't tell if you actually haven't worked it out yet. But good to have you, mate. Just check out his YouTube channel. Yeah, he put up a video the other day saying 2023 through my eyes. I need to watch that. I've been a little bit busy. Interesting. I was the opposite, I think, Rogie. I think pure elation for me in the prelim because we just kicked Melbourne's ass. And that just felt like a dream day. Like prelims don't get boring when your team's in them, even if you're a million points in front, because it's just you're getting closer to a grand final. Oh, good ball by Stone. This has been a pretty... I mean, this over was a little bit expensive, but a very good spell from him, considering what the score is. But 2018, I was more just emotional, I'd say, than happy. I mean, I was happy, obviously, but different sense. Fat Cass has worked it out. Where were you, Rogie, to watch it? Did you go to the game? Nyasha says, day or night grand final? Day, every day of the week. 100%. Cameron says, grand final day would be weird in Perth. He'd be having breakfast watching the game. That's true. I mean, for us, it's still like 12:30, so it's not... I mean, it's not like the same. Like you just kind of have breakfast. It almost feels too early to start drinking. I actually think drinking on grand final day is a little bit overrated. But I hate day drinking in general. Rogie was watching at home with his dad. Got up pretty early stressing. But a bit of calm during the game. Siren went. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. I want to have experienced 2018 like in every sense. Like I know I was there and that's the best possible outcome, but like I feel like it would have been cool to also be at home with select friends. I've actually always been a minority around my friends for being an Eagles fan, eh? They're all Fremantle fans. I don't have a group of boys that I watch the Eagles with. That's probably why I share it so closely with Dad, to be honest. Yeah, fair enough, Rogie. It's not cheap. And, it's just difficult to get a ticket too. I've been very lucky. I've been to 3. Just time and place stuff. And I didn't pay for the first one. I was only 12. Cameron reckons a much better game in 2018. I know I'm biased, but I feel like it was a little better, only because it had a bit more of an epic moment. But I think they were close to being as good as each other. Is that right, Rogie? None of your close friends follow football? That's interesting. That must be kind of weird. Obviously the boys I started True Footy with are very close friends. So we still have a group chat called True Footy, even though it's, Bush hasn't been on the channel much this year, a little bit at the start, and Joycey for a couple of years now. But we still got a pretty fire group chat. I've also got a group chat with Caden McDonald, Drewzy, and the pair, which we talk about footy and YouTube stuff. Surprise. Rogie says, I would definitely disagree with 2018 being better. Yeah. Well, the only split that I have is probably moments. And I think Dom Sheed's moment is what transcends it. Which is why I also marked the drawn grand final a little bit down. Because, I'm not saying it didn't have moments, but there was no match-winning moment. I think there's got to be glory. There's got to be a glorification. And while it was an amazing game for sure, I don't have it as the best grand final ever purely because it didn't have that tension release. That's true, Nyasha. Yeah, I was south of the river in Perth. It still felt disproportionate though. I'm talking like, if I had like a group of like 8 friends at uni, I was the only Eagles fan. There was probably 6 Dockers fans, a Geelong fan, and a Hawks fan. In my sort of extended uni group. Bloody curtain. But a lot of them were country as well. In fact, almost all of them. 3 of them from Bunbury, which I feel like is pretty even 50-50 split. I could be wrong on that. A Gero boy was also a Fremantle fan. The other 2 Gero boys were Geelong and Hawthorn. So I just couldn't buy an Eagles fan. And I went on Craigslist and I said, I will pay you $15 to be my friend. Sidebottom's goal was huge, but the moment of the game would have to be to go is like, oh, yeah, I agree it has those moments, but I just, I felt like the epicness of Sheeds probably actually only more just because it was a little bit later. Sidebottom's goal didn't feel like it had... Well, it didn't put them in front. It kind of put them... I think it put them 10 points in front, right? And then Brisbane got another goal after that. So, I don't know. I don't actually really feel that strongly about it. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. But I feel like it's even at best. I feel like 18 probably. But I don't know. This is controversial, right? But I actually felt like 06 was better than 18. But it's hard to make that case publicly because I'm just like, nah, the 2 Eagles grand finals where we won were the best. And 05 when we lost sucked. But I actually do kind of think that. 05 didn't suck. It just wasn't that good a game compared to 06. 07 grand final. I actually didn't watch much of the 07 grand final. I was in Abu Dhabi at the time. And we were out and about. I don't know how I let my... 07, I kind of lost interest in footy. I remember that was the time there was an Eagles game that came and went. And I actually forgot about it. I read about it in the paper. I was only 13. I was going through my hormonal phase. I had other things going on. But yeah. 3 overs to go in this game. The Heat should make 200, just to bring it back. Is that a 6? Nice ramp shot there from Billings. This is looking one-sided, but again, early days. Cameron reckons 2010 was the best grand final. I actually had to Google who Kath Lonan was. Pat Kaz, I do know who she is, obviously. I just didn't remember that was her name. Did she go to Curtin? I'm on her LinkedIn. I don't know why. To answer your question, no, I didn't meet her. Yeah, she did go to Curtin. I think she's a fair bit older than me. Maybe. I don't know. Sheeds was bigger, no doubt, but the fact that no one thought Sidebottom would have the distance... That's true. Sidebottom goal was unreal. Yeah, I get what you're saying. What's it like to go to a derby live? To be honest, the only the only derbies that I've been to have been Eagles home games, and it kind of just feels like every other home game because the crowd is mostly West Coast. There is a little bit more of a purple one, but purple contingent. It's Murphy. Oh, that is another 4 bounces. 2 for 185. I was at the derby where Gaff hit Brayshaw, but there was just Eagles fans, so there wasn't a crazy atmosphere, and a lot of people just didn't know what happened. I did know at the time, but they're not really that outstanding. A derby final would be different when it's mixed between 2 different sets of fans. That would be electric. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Nyasha prefers away derbies. I've never been to an away derby, I don't think. Yeah, that would be a different kind of experience. I've been to United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford, and I'm a Liverpool fan. I just didn't celebrate when we scored. Like, internally, I was like, yes. But mind you, we were still 2-1 down, so it wasn't quite the same moment. But I would definitely not have celebrated in that environment. Full and wide from Stone, and it's slapped away, or sliced away by Munro. He moves to 93. We're going to probably get our first century of the tournament. Derby Grand Final almost happened in 2015. That's true. It almost happened in 2006 too. Both times Fremantle have been in a prelim, they would have played West Coast had they won. That's hilarious. Well, 2 of the 3 times. There was also the prelim that they actually won. Supercoach's picker opens up this month, so could make a team and give it a go for some content. Just an idea. Obviously, same idea stands for fantasy whenever that happens. Supercoach's picker. What exactly is that? Is that just Supercoach for BBL? I would have thought that would have started, so I presume you mean something else. Supercoach's picker. Stars look flat in the field here. That's true, Cameron. Yeah, they are having their proverbial cheeks clapped, as it were. This is going to be a large total from the Heat. Dot border in the over. 2017 Grand Final, Tiger Smash Adelaide. Yeah, I do remember that, brother. I remember not having a great Grand Final day that year. I think I just got drunk, and at halftime I thought, this is a good game, and then the game fizzled, and I was like, now I'm day drunk, and I am unhappy with this result, and I'm just going to go home. Like the team select for AFL. There you go. There you go. Is that like the team selector? If I'm thinking of the right thing, you talk about, is that Zero Hanger that have that? Oh, free hit. That's exactly what Melbourne needed. A free hit here. Stone's bowled fairly well, but this over is blown out. 17 off at 5 balls and a free hit. Oh! It's high. It looked like he middled it. It's gone high. It's going to fall short. He definitely didn't middle it, but it just looked like a sweet hit. It just went up. We need more Drewzy. Yeah, well, I keep following him to different countries and he keeps leaving. He's back in Perth now. I actually will probably get him on a podcast over Skype. I call it Skype. Isn't it funny? I haven't used Skype in years. Yeah, we'll do like Facebook Messenger is how we chat. But yeah. Yeah, I'll get him on the chat again. I sometimes get bored and I look at old Drewzy videos with like on the channel. It's good fun. And the Manscaped ads with the Busher were also a real highlight. Sometimes watch those again. Rogi reckons the 2021 Grand Final was dog shit. I disagree. I thought that was unreal. The last quarter would have been boring. But that third quarter was just unbelievable. The first 3 quarters. Well, this will be out. Billings caught. Mistimed. Coulter gets his first wicket of the tournament. Sydney Geelong Grand Final was horrible. Yeah, that was shite. But you know what? The Eagles have been in a Grand Final and produced a terrible Grand Final for other people, so I don't... No one wants to lose by that much. Herald Sun runs the Supercoach AFL. Oh yeah, there you go. Not 2021, meant 2019. Oh god, that was terrible. I was already bitter going into that because it really bothered me that GWS wore a white Clash jumper. Like, why would you do that in a grand final when 3 years previous, they wore their home jumper in that prelim. Like, it didn't matter. Oh, clash jumper in a grand final. What a joke. I'm still angry about it. What are the teams? I mean, to be fair, Richmond had to wear yellow. That one's a little bit more justifiable, but I really don't like clash jumpers in a grand final. It would be so weird to see the Eagles win a flag in yellow. I could live with it because I don't hate the jumper, but Richmond's jumper was awful. The Luke Jackson run when he was in the ruck, yeah, that's a good point. $194 for 3. 220 is possible here. They got 10 balls here to score 26 runs to get to 220. Munro moves to 96. Clash jumpers are required though. I do agree broadly that there are cases where they are necessary. That being said, in a grand final, like, I just think, imagine your team wins the flag and you've got to watch them get up. All the photos there that will be eternal. It's like Richmond's wearing yellow. GWS in a white. It's just a white jumper with a G on it. I think that is wrong. I know that really it's subjective and fans will care to different extents. And Richmond's fans probably didn't care that much. But it also helped that they won 2 premierships after that. This has been a good over from Coulter Nile. Nathan's done a hammy. You guys are saying that is... I must be a little bit behind you guys because I see no obvious signs of injury yet. How far behind am I? It does slip behind. That's not too bad. Coulter Nile's not happy anyway, having just conceded a single. This would be a big blow for the Stars if he's genuinely done a hammy. I presume it happens here. Yep, it's happened here. He insists on his bowling, on finishing the over. I'd say imagine Essendon playing in a grand final in their red clash jumper, but they have to win a final first. That's a good point. That's a good point. So the overtimer here is... Oh, he's trying to... Yeah, I see what you guys are talking about now. He's tried to run into ice. And failed. Tell me he doesn't do it a third time. This over's taken a while. Unless the injury's already happened and I missed it. That is possible. Yeah, they got to rush through because I think with the if they run out of time, they got to bring the field in, right? That's the rule. That is not the position they want to be in. That being said, it has been a good over for Coulter Nile. It has been 1 for 5 off 5 balls. It's just taking a little bit longer. The one exception where the clash jumper, not that it is technically a clash jumper, it's a away jumper, but one exception where I think it would actually be better is Fremantle. They look better in white, I think. Oh, good slower ball. Great over from Coulter Nile. He can be happy with that, even though he ran in 9 times. 18 likes on the stream, guys. If you could chuck a like, that would be muchos apreciados. Very helpful indeed. Thank you. Munro's still stuck on 97, but he has the strike for the last over. Joel Barra's hair hanging on for dear life. That's funny. Here's a question. Say you could get any player in the AFL without having to give up anything. Which player would you not want? I'm going to need to think about that. Probably Rory Lobb. Or Alex Pearce. I don't know. Don't know how many of those players really exist. Should WA have another team in the BBL? Yeah, it's probably trending that way, to be honest. You'd imagine that would be the next one. Cricket doesn't have the same expansion goals as AFL, right? So they're not trying to manufacture a third team in a part of the country that doesn't produce cricket fans. So I think the next logical one is probably another Perth team and another Adelaide team. Or, wait, there's only one Queensland team, right? It's just Brisbane, yeah. You could justifiably go another Brisbane team. Ooh, let's start a Gold Coast franchise. Because I'm saying no any player like Taron Thomas don't want to risk. Okay, don't want to risk the culture of the club. Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any other clear examples other than that. I get why you say Taron Thomas. Jesse Hogan maybe as well, to be honest. Although he seems to be on the right track at the moment. But if WA has another team in the BBL, you'd imagine, yeah, the Scorchers won't be very strong. It'd be interesting to see, the split between the two teams. But there are a lot of Perth-based players that are playing, outside of WA at the moment, like in the BBL. Tim David, Sean Marsh. I listed them all in a video recently. Roccacelli. I'm tired, so the escaping me at the moment. There's way more than that. Bancroft. That's a good point, Nyasha. Yeah, they do. Who else is there? Darcy Short, right? He's West Australian originally. I know he's played for WA, but is he West Aussie properly? Imagine if Brian doesn't hit a single here. I think you must be a little bit ahead of me. Munro's on strike on 98, I'm guessing. Stoinis, good call. Yeah. Paris, yes, good call. Thank you, guys. There you go. So Munro's on 99. Imagine you get stuck on 99. That'd be funny. A New Zealand team would be interesting. Hey, I don't know to what extent they have a functioning. Well, they obviously have a T20 league, but I don't know how it compares to the BBL. The only reason I could see them being motivated to get involved is if there's more money in ours, which I presume there is. There's reasonable money in the BBL. Would have thought. Oh, Brian's hit a 4. God. Short is from Northern Territory. There you go. See, you guys are really just fountains of knowledge for me. I appreciate it. That being said, obviously there's no Northern Territory team. So is his home team Western Australia in the Sheffield Shield? Watch the Stars get bowled out for 60 now. God, that would suck. Bryant. Oh, no. He's done the right thing. Hitting a single would have been a bit short-sighted. Smacking the ball is exactly what he should be doing. 99 off 61. So unless there's a no ball or a wide that they run, he's going to be 99. Yeah, I mean, you can't complain with that. Finishing with 3 boundaries, like that's the right thing for the team. Unfortunately for Munro. 99 not out is a sensational innings. Well, Maxwell's going to get... there's always an emoji over the last word. Get... He's going to win the game, I presume you're saying. Or get fuck all, yeah. Yeah, that is usually the choices there with Glenn Maxwell. But once he gets in... Yeah, Tom Rogers and Harper, will open the batting. And Maxwell at first drop, I reckon. So hard to find any winners in the bowling attack. Coulter finished his spell really well. Maxwell took 1 for 44. Paris 1 for 46. I think we saw 3 good overs from Ollie Stone. Then I think his last one was expensive. But 214, it feels like it's going to be hard for them to chase. Is any team going to do a Sydney Thunder and get bowled out 15? I seriously can't see that happening ever again. I don't know how they allowed that to happen. I've watched the highlights a few times, obviously. Like, it wasn't too many loose shots. Not like with respect to T20. A couple, but a lot of catches in the slips. God, it's worth watching again. Like, I just never thought I'd see that. And Sydney Thunder finished way higher than the Adelaide Strikers. I think they finished 4th and Adelaide finished 7th. So it's kind of ludicrous. Oh, Bunnings ads taking me back. Oh, I think I need a second coffee. Oh my God. I don't really have time to go and get one though. It's like a 20-minute round trip. I can't pause the stream for 20 minutes. If it was like right there, I would go get one. Up to 19 likes, guys, so thank you very much. Yeah, let's nudge it over to 20. Let's go for 25. Let's not limit ourselves with our potential. It's all about mindset. I'm talking some nonsense here. All right. What I'm going to do is just get the scorecard up on this other screen here. How's this Jordan Buckingham guy bowling really well against Pakistan? I don't know much about him. He's played 14 first-class matches at an average of 30. Solid. He's only 23. And he has a 7-for. That's pretty outstanding. South Australian? Yeah. So some solid cameos there from Khawaja and Labuschagne. They made starts, 28 off 19, 30 off 23. You can't complain about that. Colin Munro with a big 99. Bartlett, Johnson, and Neeser is a formidable bowling attack. And this Paul Walter bowls too, doesn't he? He's a left-arm medium bowler. I don't know how much he bowls. He bowls a fair bit. T20 average 25, that's decent. Good for an all-rounder. Melbourne didn't quite get a lot out of their pace attack. Coulter was probably the pick of the bowlers. Ollie Stone was solid, but expensive last over. Kath Lonan. I've still got a tab open there. What's an average weekend for Jesse look like? Honestly, mate, I don't even notice the difference between any other day of the week. The funny thing about my current routine as well is I'm constantly a day out, because if I wake up on a Monday, I am uploading videos for Tuesday, which means the entire day I think it's Tuesday. So I'm completely out of loop. But yeah, I don't really do much, man. Like I kind of stopped going out because I'm trying to save money to travel a bit next year. It's not going to look like last year where I traveled for most of the year and you barely see me. Well, that's not true. I did upload a fair bit, but I'm going to take shorter trips next year because I can't really afford big grandiose trips. But I do the same thing every day. Just go out and get a coffee, and I'm loving that routine. Heard Harley Reid hurt his hammy at training, fitting right into the Eagles. Yeah. So Nyasha's right. It was a corky, and then there was a bit of hamstring tightness earlier. But the injuries look like they've kind of started. I'm thinking about doing an Eagles update video sometime soon. Just to catch up on the off-season. But yeah, I think, like, Sheeds in a moon boot, that is not a good sign. That is not a good sign. I know the Eagles are trying to play it down. Simo's trying to play it down. Doesn't want the media to go large with it, and that's fair. But, yeah, I'm concerned about that. Currently reading a bio on Kath Lonan. So she's from Perth, eh? She's born in the United States. She's American. Am I looking at the right Kath Lonan? It looks like her. Yeah, no, it's definitely her. she's American. That's interesting. I was just like talking about Kath Lonan, and then I'm just talking about some American random. So she's the same age as me. Fuck. She's 6 months older than me. And my age. So yeah, fair question that I would have been at uni at the same time as her. It's kind of wild. She went to Iona. I'm very across my all-girls schools. Oh God, that's a joke. I actually meant that to insinuate I was a creepy teenager, not a creepy 30-year-old. My God. Anyway, moving on. Why do I always talk myself into these situations? Good to hear. Always want to see the best talent in the park. Yeah, I think it would be really deflating not to have Harley Reid for round one. So he'll be there. He'll be there. Probably. Elijah Hewitt at the moment is a couple of weeks off with a toe injury, which is not ideal, but apparently it's something he played through last year. Cameron asks, how do you keep yourself entertained when alone in a foreign country? Well, first of all, I'm not really alone. I do have my roommate who's my high school best mate, so we hang out a bit. Yeah, and we'll go to the pub occasionally as well. So I don't really feel alone. And I have mates in London, and I'm going to go down to London in a week or two. So, yeah, I don't feel alone. How do I keep myself entertained? Honestly, I'm just kind of obsessed with trying to make YouTube work. And it's just like a fun game that I just happen to enjoy playing. That's kind of the way I see it. So I feel entertained. I feel fulfilled to an extent. It is just a moment in time, though. Like, if this was the rest of my life, I'd be questioning it. But I'm going to work really hard this summer, get myself into a position where I can travel, book those trips, work really hard around those trips, and go from there. And I think I can't complain about that. She did a podcast with Scully. That's a good point. She did, and I never saw that, because the funny thing about being a full-time YouTuber is you don't actually get to watch a lot of YouTube. And like I said before, I've discovered this deep fake Star Wars thing that is the funniest shit ever. And around that, like, I started delving into like podcasts about what is consciousness, spiritualism, psychology. I kind of, right when most people kind of wind down for the day, I put on really complex topics that are kind of above my head, but I kind of keep up with them. It's good fun. Good fun. Was the podcast good, Nyasha? I am going to stand up and get a refreshed bottle of water. I smash water, hey. I've had 2 bottles of water since this stream started. And I'm going for my 3rd, boys. I'll be back. Where am I planning to go next year? It's a good question. I think there's many answers, and I've got to kind of choose exactly what I want to do. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to go back and hit the same favourite spots. I just seen Rogue Riot's comment there. Come on, man. I told you that in confidence. So my favourite spots were Greece and Croatia. Like, I just hit the highlights. Simultaneously, I also want to do Eastern Europe because I haven't been there yet. I feel like that would be good for a lads trip where there may not be heaps to do and see. I mean, there certainly is, though. I don't want to be dismissive of Eastern Europe, like particularly like Poland. But I feel like that's one thing I probably wouldn't do alone. Whereas Greece and Croatia I probably could and just go on a Kentucky or something. But I'm equally torn about going to the States because this is the time of my life where I have an opportunity to. And the Cricket World Cup's there. Like, how cool would it be to go to the Caribbean? I don't know. The thing is, I can't afford all of this. So I'm going to have to be selective. So maybe I stick to Europe for now. But I want to see my sister on the way back because I'll probably move back this time next year. Maybe in Melbourne, who knows? Depends how realistic YouTube is as a career this time next year. Up to 21 likes, guys. Thank you very much. 14 concurrent viewers. Thank you. My granddad on my dad's side is from Croatia, so we'd like to visit. Grandma's from Malta. There you go. Yeah, that's cool, Rogie. Croatia is one of the most beautiful places. I did a sail Croatia, and throughout the day, you're just on top of the boat and just looking at the landscape, and it doesn't look real. It just doesn't look real. And Dubrovnik's cool as hell. There's a party vibe there. It's got everything you want. And depending on your view of Australian tourists, there's a lot of those too, but that's kind of nice too. I don't mind that. And don't forget, I haven't seen Australians that much this year. I mean, I have in the Kentuckys and stuff, but I mean, outside of that, there are no Australians in Maxwell. I honestly reckon I'm the only one. Yasha says I'm going to South Africa. I feel like you mentioned that. And tossing up between the US or UK. That's cool, man. What would I recommend? I don't think the UK is for everybody. London in particular, it's people either love it or they hate it. They either see the charm and they see the lifestyle benefits and how cool it could be to live there, or they just think, well, this is shit compared to Dubrovnik. So it really depends on the lens through which you choose to see it. I like the UK. I like the culture here to an extent. I hate the daylight hours, but that's just a European thing generally. It's also cold as balls right now, but in the summer it's lovely. Okay, good point. Pretty certain he's from Croatia, but it was Yugoslavia, of course. Yeah, so it could be like Serbia or Montenegro. The US, I've only been to a few places, New York and Virginia and DC, which is where Virginia, it's in Virginia. And it's cool. I can't help but be curious about the States and just sort of be around Americans. I know they have a bit of a stigma as well. There's this view that Americans are arrogant, which in a way is a little bit of a contradiction? Paradox? Not paradox. It's ironic. That's what I'm trying to say. It's ironic because there's a kind of arrogant attitude to have, suggesting that Americans are not fun to be around and generalizing in that way, because I don't agree with that. But yeah, just being around Americans is kind of an interesting experience. New York City is a must-see, but that's kind of all I've seen. So I think you go other places there like Texas, Florida, and probably countless others that I'm not even aware of. Cali. Yasha's done LA and Arizona. What do you think? I have not seen the west part or the central part. But yeah, if I did America, I would definitely do a Kentucky. I would want it organised for me to some extent, and partying with other people would be cool. But because I'm not I don't have a real job, I can't deplete all my money. So I just need to become a millionaire between then, guys. Now and then. Rogi's helped out. I appreciate it, mate. That is going straight to the Kentucky jar. Oh my god, first ball. Oh, it's just bounced through. That should have been a wicket. Sorry, it was second ball. I must have missed the first ball. I was chatting. Rogi says, I wouldn't mind living in London for a year. Could do Glasgow as well. Have a mate living there. That's cool. Yeah. Scotland's cool. The only thing is, if you're concerned at all about weather, Glasgow is going to be worse than London. But London would be cool. I am in a good position where I'm not in London, but it's about a 2-hour train, and I have enough mates there where I can just sort of dip down there for a weekend, stay on a mate's couch, and experience what it's like. And one of them in particular is a single 30-year-old guy as well, and he still goes to house parties. I don't know. It's such an interesting mix of cultures there, which I think strikes a chord with me because of my upbringing as well. So just being in a room with a French person, a Londoner, a Pakistani guy, just all chatting, a Ukrainian, that is literally a real experience that I had, and it's a cool experience. Yeah, true. The Grand Canyon would have been amazing. Now dance for me. I have danced enough on this channel. I've done everything on this channel. Well, not everything, but I've done a lot. I'm pretty sure I farted on this channel once. Subscribe to my channel. I'm professional. What's happening here? Are they reviewing whether it was runs off the bat, or they're reviewing LBW? I know they don't formally review runs off the bat. Yeah, but whether the umpires are checking it looks like it's hit him in line. Height might be an issue here. Giving it ball tracker. It's always such a ball ache when ball tracker, excuse me, is delayed. You can tell that they're just kind of wasting time, because the ball tracker takes a few minutes to render, I suppose. You've made love to Busher on the channel before, if I'm not mistaken. I don't recall that. You are mistaken. It was definitely off camera. Oh, Niasha's saying a wicket. God. It did look close. Oh dear. It is hit. There you go. Wicket. Stars in for another year of pain, it looks like. Yeah. And Tim's retired. I should quit. Yeah, wicket. There you go. Is that Harper? So Rogers and Maxwell at the crease, presumably. That is a blow. That's the third ball of the innings. Wow, that took a long time. Yeah. Yesterday, or earlier today, I did my BBL predictions and I had Adelaide below Melbourne, but after I posted, I was like, why? Why? But it doesn't really matter. It's all kind of silly predictions. So the Heat strike early. Third ball, Nisa as well. He had a great series last year. I think it was 26 wickets he took. He's got a real dad beard going on. Real Chris Pratt vibes. Doesn't look like him as such, but it's kind of a vibe. Oh, there you go. God, Nisa is a sexy rugged man. I'd live in a log cabin with him. Is that a euphemism? You talking about your log cabin? Oh, gross. The dark side of True Footy. Once more. Yeah, Nisa is... that beard, I think, enhances him. He is rugged. That is a good term. I'm going to grow out a bit of a gross beard. I'm in my grind era at the moment. No socializing. Just growing out gross facial hair. I always regret it. You always go through this cycle with facial hair. In my experience of, like, going clean shaven, growing a beard because you're like, oh, maybe this beard will be different. Especially because in theory I should be able to grow more over time because I can't grow a full beard. Then I grow a beard and I go, this sucks, but I wonder what clean shaven looks like, or a mustache. And then I switch it up and then I'm like, this doesn't look so good after all. Maybe I'll go for a beard again. It's just in an endless cycle. Subscribe for cricket content. They're really dragging out this replay of the review. His first over is taking forever. 1 for 6 or 5. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Rogers. Oh, God. Stars are getting absolutely rogered. Rogue Wright says, can't do clean shave and I look like a child. Been switching between a beard and a mustache. Yeah. I mean, I kind of look weird as well. But I don't know if that's just because I'm used to being facially haired. 2 for 6. That was such a bad shot. Goatee and stash, says Nyasha. Yeah, nice. I generally don't like goatees, but some people do rock them. Unfortunately, I can kind of grow a natural one. It doesn't quite stitch up here, but that is like here, and here is where most of my hair grows, and it's pretty thin on the sides. But I'm gonna just like not shave for like a month or two, and then probably shave back down to the mustache, because I tell you, it works on Kentucky. That's all I'll say. Cameron says, this is stanky. Agreed, mate. That is the exact right word to use. We've now got Joe Burns and Maxwell at the crease. 2 for 6. They are getting an absolute Tom Rogering here. I might actually take a leak here. Not here. Don't worry. We back. I had to trim the goatee area. It's actually pronounced goatee. More than the rest. Can't do just a goatee. Yeah, agreed. I think fatter than Jesse on a Friday night. I don't know what that means. I was laughing at my own jokes, as always. Someone's got to. At my draft review video. I make a comment, I said, Geelong have gone for a very mature approach, just like Bush on a Saturday night, and I didn't even smile. I don't think I even clocked that I'd said it. It is just so ingrained in my personality now to say that I just said it without thinking. And someone commented on it, and I was like, oh, I did say that. He's still copying it, even though I haven't seen the guy in 6 months. But just like weave in, trying to optimize the angles here. I just weave in like terrible jokes into serious analysis just seamlessly. Anyone that's new to my channel, because I think of it as well, like, I get a few thousand subscribers a year, like on average now. And it's going to be about 5,000 this year. So, like, accruing new viewers over time, there's a lot of people who just don't know who Busher is. So I just keep referencing this faceless Daniel Busher. It'd be good to have Bush back on the channel one day. But he has moved, which means that our old studio, the birthplace, of the True Footy podcast, at least where the second episode was and beyond, is now gone. We'll never be in that room again. Maybe I'll buy it back one day when I'm a millionaire. Busher gets bulk chicks. Do you mean like quantity, many, or physically large? I can say that because there's 11 concurrent viewers. Bush just got to go for the mature ladies after not being allowed in school zones anymore. Yes. Yeah, the threshold for mature. I'm not even going to go there. Is Bush working as a lawyer? No, I think he's still working for his old man. Like, Bush did, like, his background is also kind of accounting, so I think he sort of keeps the books for his old man and helps out. He's admitted as a lawyer. I think he dabbled with trying to get a job, and then we haven't talked about anything serious. Like, I still talk to him most days, but it's mostly like Star Wars memes, which is true friendship. So Nisa has 2 wickets from 1 over, just continuing that great form. Here he's in for his second over. That's a good shot by Burns. It will be kept in. Mec du November says 61. I'm not sure what that's a reference to, sorry. It's probably something obvious. Unless you mean that's the threshold for mature. Couple of dots one dot there from Nisa. Good start to his spell. 2 for 7. God. I thought it was his chance to play in the Prime Minister's game, so they're kind of lucky he's available, but either way, probably would get a win anyway. Who else has Nisa played for? Has he played for the Hurricanes and the Strikers, or am I completely making that up? Ooh, Burns goes El Largio with a big 6. Second best South African in the Oz team. Wait, who's South African? I know Labuschagne. Who's the other one? Is Nisa South African? Is that what you're saying? Top 5 ice cream flavors. Big call. You're going to hate this. I'm a vanilla man. I think I saw Caden McDonald talk about this on a podcast recently. Go vanilla. Cookies and cream. And what's that cookie dough one? Those are the 3. He played for the Strikers. Okay, cool. Thanks, Rogie. So I didn't completely imagine it. I just sometimes conflate the Strikers and Hurricanes. I don't know why. Nisa South African then. Oh, there you go. I did not know that. Good delivery again. Burns is walking down the crease, obviously trying to throw off his length. Giggity. 11.53 the run rate is. Required run rate. So you consider where the Heat were. They got to 43 off 4. So they need a big over here to even catch up. And I don't think they'd taken a wicket. If they did, they took 1. Another dot ball from Nisa. So a 6 coming off the over, 10 off it, but still ultimately pretty good. Mac do November then says top 5 Oreo flavors. Just talking about the ice cream again, finish that off. Maybe chocolate and strawberry after that, but I'm probably missing one. Peppermint, chocolate peppermint, that's good. I don't know about Oreo flavors. I'm pretty much a generic Oreo man by preference. Ooh, Rig Riot likes a summer berry and lemon sorbet. Lemon sorbet was my favorite as a kid. Not a huge fan of chocolate ice cream. Like I listed it in my top 5 because I'll still eat it, and I also couldn't think of anything else. But yeah, it's just it doesn't taste like real chocolate really, like a bit. Tastes almost closer to dark chocolate. So it's like I'll eat it, but it's like I wouldn't go out of my way for dark chocolate. These are the questions. This is why I'm here, Lois. Okay, Spencer Johnson did the attack for the first time. Favorite Arnott's biscuits. D's Arnott's. I can't think of a single Arnott biscuit. Like I don't know them by brand. Ooh, good delivery to start. Dot ball. Squeezed up Maxwell. Image. Yeah, what are some examples of Arnott's biscuits? Malta milk, and it ain't close. Maybe I'm not a big biscuit guy. I did like shortbread creams as a kid. Those slapped. There was also this chocolate little number. Used to have my eye on. I forgot what it's called though. Mint slices I used to go absolutely crazy for. I know that's a universal one. But god damn, if Mum ever brought home some mint slices, I would just I just ravage through it within half a day. And she'd be like, Jesse, did you eat all these mint slices? And I'd be like, nah, man. Scotch fingers are alright. Scotch fingers. But weren't my go-to. Shortbread creams. Now that's a biscuit you can see or watch to. 14 concurrent viewers. I'm so sorry. Spencer Johnson going in for his third delivery. 2 for 19 off 20 balls. So a perfect start here for the Heat. I'll be very comfortable with where they are. That is a good shot through Maxwell. From Maxwell. He is potentially got his eye in. That's where he's dangerous. Chicken crimpies or chicken cream pies? That is not something you want to Google. Shapes feel like a category in itself. Yeah, I'm not a shapes guy at all. I never really partook. I don't really indulge in savoury snacks like that too much. Like chips and stuff. Like I just never buy that stuff. I'll have it if there's like, if we're at like a party and people are mingling, or like grand final day or something like that. That's about it. Geez, Maxwell's hit a couple in a row now. 4 runs. Don't tell me he's injured again. Has he hurt his forearm? Or elbow? God damn it. That is the last thing they need. Although last time Maxwell got injured in the game, worked out pretty good. Leave the raw chicken alone. Ew. I've never tried Marmite. I should while I'm here, but I don't care about it. Like, we've got Vegemite, but I haven't had that. When was the last time I had Vegemite? I don't know. My sister might have had some in America. Like, you can probably buy it places. That might have been the last opportunity I had to get Vegemite. I doubt they sell it here at Tesco. I could be wrong. Cameron says, any plans of expanding the True Footy YouTube channel like Terry's done with Blue Abroad, having different shows with different people running them and making it more of a network? I have considered that. I don't know if I'd start with shows as such. I suppose there's no reason why I couldn't. I did have a few people in mind that I'd want to add, but I'd really want to be specific and really intentional with it, and I wouldn't want to have someone join and then dip out straight away. I have a couple of people in mind that I would consider doing this with. It just hasn't really ever eventuated. I mean, Drewzy was kind of the first evolution of that. He was doing videos for True Footy earlier this year, and that may continue. Good over there from Maxwell, 2 for 37. He went 4-4-6-4 to end the over. So yeah, I'm open-minded to it. There's some really good content creators out there, for sure. One in particular that I'm thinking of that I will say is Rogue Riot. Well, yeah, maybe. That's funny as. But I actually meant Ruck Rover, the Ruck Rover podcast. He used to be around in like 2019, I want to say. And I think he's just like, he's got a career. I think he might even have a kid now. He's married. But a classic example of someone with a massive amount of talent, a very talented creator that probably doesn't have the time and energy to put it into building his own platform. But if I provided him a platform, for instance, that was just an idea I had. But well, that's kind of the True Footy mantra, Rogue Riot. What am I saying? I'm slurring my words today. I feel like I've had a sleeping pill, like I said. Jacob S says, doing much fantasy content this upcoming season? Maybe. The thing I found with fantasy content is that it did not do well at all. I'm also not super good at it. Like, I might do a video, like, revealing what my team is and just talking it through, but I'm obviously not an expert. But it doesn't seem to really permeate unless it's Supercoach. That seems to have its own little micro community. And I've never played Supercoach in my life, so I could have a crack, but probably for a one-off video. What happened to the AFL round table with the pair, Caden and Drewzy? Yeah, I think that was just a one-off, eh? I think we've only done that once. Maybe we've done it twice. I think we've done a season predictions and we've done... no, that might have been on Drewzy's channel, I don't even remember. And we did a Caden one for the finals of like 2021. But that was always intended as sort of once-offs at the time, rather than an ongoing show. That would be pretty cool. I think Hayden is probably a bit busy. And I just feel like I'm definitely going to be working with Drewzy again in the future. And the pair potentially as well. Listen, I'll fit right in. I can make dirty jokes and quote Palpatine. Yeah, that is kind of a large percentage of what we do. Oh God, I remember True Footy Podcast 66. We had our first legitimate guest. When I say guest, I mean someone outside of... I shouldn't say legitimate, that sounds rude. Someone outside of the AFL YouTube space. We had Jack Avery, who has now become a pretty good waffle player and was a draft hopeful at the time. And 18-year-old kid, obviously, was a little bit nervous energy in the room when we got him in. We start recording. And I say, okay, guys, welcome back to True Footy Podcast 66. And Busher cuts over me and goes, execute Podcast 66. And no one laughs. It just completely took the wind out of my sails. Jack could have had no idea what that meant. I just remember thinking, God, Busher, read the room, even though that is hilarious. Yeah. Daz Talks Footy is good. I agree, man. He's got some talent as well. 100%. I enjoy watching his stuff. He's funny, he's witty, seems like a good dude, and super knowledgeable. Yeah, I definitely recommend Daz Talks Footy. Super aware of what is like happening outside of his own team as well. That's probably something I found hard this year. I'm getting better at it through the off season because I I've had the time to research it, I suppose. But during the season, I found that a little bit hard. And he just seems to be able to speak passionately about every team. Or most teams. Yeah, that's cool, Rogue. You should give it a crack, man. Yeah, I would just start off doing some... depends what kind of content you would want to make. What would it be? Quite analytical? You seem pretty switched on, so like... Yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes growing big or like growth videos are going to be different to like the actual content you want to do sometimes. So there's a bit of a balance there, but... yeah, I'd be interested to see what kind of content you'd be interested in making. Yeah, welcome to my life right now, Cameron. It's the off season, I think, with the this is a cricket stream as well. That being said, it's a cricket stream, but it's probably like one of my quietest ever cricket streams. I think I'm probably just a bit of a slump in the algorithm at the moment because I've been uploading so many cricket videos that haven't permeated. So I probably need to get a bit of momentum back by having a couple of AFL videos do all right. And then maybe the next BBL stream will be all right. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm here for the fun. Still got to do work after this anyway. Cooper asks, are you still in Australia? I am not. I left Australia in April and I will be back probably this time next year, but I'm in the UK if you are unaware. Maxwell is strapping his forearm, it looks like. I wonder if he's just done a little muscle strain, which would be annoying. Trying to drive power through that right arm would be quite necessary. Green or red, asks Mech. Are you just talking about the colour generally? Because... I don't know. I don't know. I don't really think about that sort of stuff. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'll say red. Rogie would be focused on analytical and list-based stuff. I'm doing uni at the moment, so I reckon it'd be a good... I do more for fun than necessarily trying to grow it. Yeah, fair enough, man. I mean, that's how I started it. I was doing the exact same thing, and I actually started in the off-season of 2017, which meant that I got straight into draft and trade. Back then, I was doing we did a podcast for the trade period review, and then we did a podcast for the pre-draft. Yeah, pre-draft. And so there was long gaps in between, but that was into my forte. The good thing about the list stuff and the trade and draft is that it pops, but it's only short term. Excuse me. But it's fun. There's definitely a market for it. Tom Morris was saying on a podcast recently, I think it's the 100K podcast, really good episode, really good interview. I really liked Tom Morris at the end of it. But he was just saying the interest in trade and draft versus the actual season is ridiculous. It's disproportionate for him as well. I think he said they released an article once of Oscar McDonald being a trade rumor. It might have been this year or a previous year. And he said that article got more hits than anything grand final related this year. Stupid. Where are we at? Has anyone ever mentioned that your voice sounds almost identical to Jake from Fantasy Hat Chat podcast? No, I've never heard that before. Definitely a different guy. Green. So Pat, can I ask, how come you went to the UK but only for a short while? I thought you would live there permanently. Yeah, man, the truth is exactly what this trip was going to be was always going to unfold as it happened. And I was very open to it being permanent. I wanted to find a life here that was so compelling that I wanted to stay, and that's probably still possible. Don't tell my dad that, but it's possible. I think the things that have changed, I mean, the family stuff, nothing too serious, but like just a couple of family things going on that I want to be back around is one factor. And potentially as well, taking True Footy more seriously. Even that was still a bit of an unknown this year. Like I came here with the intention of it being full-time and hopefully, becoming a legitimate business in some way, shape or form. And it's not a business or anything like that, but it is the potential for it to become my sole income going forward has increased. My belief in that possibility has increased because of a good few months, the last 3 months. So those are probably all factors in why I would probably want to come home. It's not because I really want to be in Perth, to be honest. But yeah, family was always going to pull me back. I don't think... When I said permanently, I probably was thinking like 5 years maybe. I know that's not at all permanent. You can use the word permanent pretty loosely. Australia is Jesse's true home, that's true. Sort of. Lived in a lot of different places. Lived in 4 countries now. Hansy's in the chat. Welcome, mate. Looking clean shaven, my baby Queenie. Gross. Thanks, buddy. Mac says China. You can't see myself in China. Oh, reverse sweep. Maxwell's gone, and with that, the Stars might be absolutely toast as Swepson takes his first wicket of the campaign. God, they're still sawing us, but yeah, they're up against it. Jesse's going to find sugar daddy to support his hedonistic lifestyle. Yeah, don't act like that. That's not going to be you, Rogie. Riley says that's done now. Yeah, probably the case. Got a few extra viewers now, guys. 17 in the chat. Thank you. Chuck a like on the stream. Won't you help me out with this algorithm business that seems to be limiting me? You call me Dave Grohl, Hunsey. I hate that I kind of see what you mean. No, you went to the Foo Fighters. But as soon as you said that, and I thought you were talking about me, I thought of when I had a mullet and a clean-shaven look. I see a bit of a Dave Grohl comparison, bearing in mind I don't think he's actually attractive. So I took it as an insult. I'm in England, Razor. I have spent a little bit of time in America this year, but I'm in England. I think I spent all of April in America, where my sister lives. Kuhneman takes the catch, the spinners combined. So they've got Stoinis, they've got Cartwright, and then we're into Dawson, who I think is a bowling all-rounder. And Coulter Niles in there. But you'd rely on Coulter Niles maybe for a quick 30, but that's it. I assumed, because you just commented on my clean shave, you're like, wow, Dave Grohl's handsome in person. I don't know why I thought you meant that. Dave Grohl maybe looked alright 20 years ago. Did he? I wouldn't even have a clue. Where was the Foo Fighters concert? Chuka? Nah, Kuhneman to the attack. Spin bowling options aplenty. Well, 2. Stoinis not making double digits. Yeah, I think that's a good call. Run rate of 12 required. I am getting El Hungro. Pretty cool. Pretty good if you came back to Australia and you could make the True Footy YouTube channel to a whole new level. Yeah, I think so, man. It is kind of weird that I went overseas to take it full time. But I was just trying to, kill multiple birds with several stones, as they say. So, yeah, it is weird, but I mean, it hasn't really held me back too much. I mean, getting up earlier for games is one factor, but yeah, I don't mind that. I think the collaboration with others would help. Like if I was in Melbourne, for instance, Drewzy's going to end up there. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just short-oriented, to be honest. Like I can talk all this big game about like what's the overarching goal. I think my short-term focus is to smash December, and then it'll be smash January, and then it'll be have a good, strong February to set me up for the season. Like that's about as far as I'm thinking at the moment, other than obviously, like I said, saving some money to travel again. And then see where I am, you know. Oh, great catch. Kawaja's gotten Stoinis Rogue right. Is probably going to have to start making BBL content. That was a great call by you. A little bit unlucky there. I mean, he hit it straight at the fieldsman, but he hit it hard. It was a good catch. 4:52. The Melbourne Stars looking unconvincing to start this campaign. Brisbane Heat, by contrast, look very, very El Solido. HBF Park in Perth. All right. Yeah, okay. Wait. Oh, in the Perth one. Sorry, yeah. Amy Park. There you go. Jackie Bass has a question on West Coast ruck situation. Batman looking stronger. Yeah, good call. Tell you what, I'm going to take the quickest of James leaks, and I will answer that because, like I said, I've had 2.5 bottles of water since this stream started, and it's starting to get to me. He says as he guzzles more. I'm very dehydrated. I don't know why. All right. Aaron Finch. Mangoes. Okay. He's not a player the Jedi would tell you. Nice. Oh, yeah, Rogie, before I get into the rest of the questions, you gotta watch this deep fake thing. It's so funny. It's just like, it really does look like Ewan McGregor on the couch. He's just like, Anakin, how did you not know this guy was a Sith? And he's like, I can't remember what he says. He's like, he's literally said the word Sith 20 times in 20 seconds. It's very subtle, like, low-key humour, but it really makes me cackle. Ruck predictions for West Coast. I think they'll start round 1, Flynn in the ruck, Williams, third tall. I think at some point I would like to just go with Williams and maybe Jack Williams in the forward line. I don't know how Bailey will go as a secondary ruck. But if he outperforms Flynn, he could push him out. My worst case scenario is that Williams underperforms as a third tall. Oh my God. Burns is gone, and this is becoming a drubbing. A drubbing. That's right. Worst case scenario is Williams struggles, gets dropped, and wants to leave. Which is possible if you push him out of his main role. Breakout star of the tournament. Fraser McGurk. I'm not too clued in on terms of like who really is about to take the competition by storm, but Fraser McGurk seems to have talent, that's for sure. What about a young Seamer? Don't know. Will Sutherland, maybe? Aaron Finch looks like Chris Pratt. I don't know if I see that. I think I just use that for Michael Nisa. It doesn't really look like him either. I'll consider the Aaron Finch one, but I've never noticed that. G'day, Roaming Has. Good, thank you, mate. How are you? Oh, I almost had a dad moment where I thought Swepson clean bowled the next batsman too, because they didn't slow it down. Not great batting from Burns. It was pretty much on middle stump. Aaron Hardy's a good call, although he's already a pretty good player. But yeah, good call. Tweet from Swampy. Stoinis has joined Lynn and Finch to be dismissed on 2,499 runs. That is very specific. As I was walking out of the concert, I saw Hustwaite and his brother Campbell. My father proceeded to yell, "Who's this lanky numpty?" And I described who he was. Oh my God. Did he say it to them, Hunsey? That's bold. Who's this lanky fuck? Will they get to 100? That's a good question, Pat. I'll probably bet no. Cartwright could have a little cameo here. Ruggy, I vary. It really depends how stat focused the videos are. I do find, sometimes I get into a rhythm where even if I'm not super familiar with the topic, like 10 young guns from the AFL, I mean, I obviously know who the players are, but like familiarizing myself with like how their season went, because there's so much information going into my head on a daily basis making content, it just means I can't possibly hold it all, so I forget dumb shit. So familiarizing myself, but I find like through the process, I do a pretty comprehensive script. I dot point everything, and I find that if I do it soon enough after doing that script, I can pretty much put the script on the side and not really use it at all. I'm just in a good rhythm with it at the moment. But I do pretty comprehensive scripts because it helps me prepare as best as possible for the video. To what extent I read off it, not like decreasingly so, but there are some videos where I do go information heavy. You can tell by how many cuts I do, because that's how many times I look at the screen. For Eagles Corner, I didn't really write anything down all year, which is why I kept doing it. It's easy content, super efficient to get out. I'm good at it. I'm passionate about it. Well, I believe I'm good at it. And the views were there, so I just kept doing it. He heard my dad and confronted him. Are you kidding me? Who's this lanky numpty? What happened? I need more detail about that. Fraser McGurk has been around for a while and living on potential for most of that, but he started to make runs in other formats. Yeah, fair enough, Riley. Fairly well summed up. Yeah, I think he's having a pretty good season so far. Hello, Max Cam. Welcome to the chat. Can we get to 30 likes? That would be hot stuff. Like Donna Summers. Her music, not necessarily her. I don't know what she looks like. Have stuff maybe this evening. Kooderman's had a good start. That's funny, Hunsey. What exactly did the Hustwaite boys say? Oh, jeez. That's far from ideal. Accidentally starting on a player for the team you support. That would suck. Oh, a bit of ice on Maxwell's forearm. That is just the last thing they needed. No Brooks. Potentially no Maxwell. Ooh. Campbell Hustwaite is currently training with the Pies. Yeah, I did see that actually. Five or six players training with you. That's a lot. Do you have one list spot? I think you have one. It'd be pretty unconventional to go with two, right? Although, can you already make McStay inactive for next year? Or is that too ballsy? No, I presume you haven't. They just said, what? And I was surprised and whispered my dad's ear. He plays for Hawthorn. Oh my God, that's terrible. That's like cringy. So unfortunate. I don't think the Eagles have any train-ons outside of like academy players, which I think Malachi Champion's probably training with them. Definitely read that actually. Well, the slow bowlers have really struck here. Swepson and Kuhneman. Taken 3 wickets in the last 3 overs, I think. 2 for 11. Good start from Swepson. Having a good Shield season too. Good delivery again. Dot ball. We have 3 list spots, 4 if we put McStay on the LT. Wow. How do you have 3? I feel like you left one open on purpose. Are there other injuries? What's the deal there? Or did you just not take rookie selections? I can't even remember what Collingwood did in the rookie draft. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, in the position you're in, it doesn't make sense to put McStay on the LTI list yet anyway. 4-leg buys. A massive call indeed. Well, they paid that as runs, did they? And a 6. Cartwright loosening up his shoulders a little bit. We didn't take any rookie selections. There you go. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't remember one. Not that I memorized the rookie draft, but yeah, I don't recall one. So Cartwright is probably their best shot at like making this not super one-sided. They need 14 and over. If they can get within 50 runs, this is a massive, like that's a great result for them at this point. Max says all out for 89. Five for 73 off 9.5. Good over so far. They've gotten 12 off it. And they need 14 and over. Yeah, exactly. Saving the run rate. Oh, good ball to finish the over there from Swepson. So, despite hitting a 4 and a 6, they still didn't hit the required rate. Do I see anything in Chesser? He's always spoken about in the same category as Hewitt and Ginby, but I don't see him lasting. Well, I don't know if people do consider him in the same category as Ginby and Hewitt. I mean, other than the fact that he was taken at the same pick as Hewitt the year before. I think most have expected a slow burn. I think there was a bunch of Eagles fans who were dissatisfied with the start to his career. He was very fumbly, looked very unassured, little bit of a rabbit in the headlights. But I think the Chesser we saw to mid to late season was one that had a lot more composure, hit some good kicks, still needs to find the football, build some confidence, but I'm happy with the way his trajectory is. For me, I don't think he's a Jimby Hewitt talent. I just think he's probably more of like an impact wingman one day. If he can become a poor man's Isaac Smith. Obviously, Isaac Smith was a star, and he played in some good teams, which probably helped that profile. But Chesser could probably be like an impact, explosive player. Probably gets his 17 touches a game, but uses the ball well. I think that's something we could use. Yeah, super coach scores. I mean, it's not much to go off with the Eagles this year. We were chucking Luke Edwards in the forward line. I think he had a game where he had 3 touches. Like, he's better than that. It's just the roles and everything was just a steaming pile of shit this year at West Coast. Throughout the middle patch, anyway. I would probably start him in the waffle. I'd start him in the waffle next year, provided we're fit. Let him start accumulating 20 touches a game in the waffle, bring him back in. He's physically developed, he's fit. So it's just a case of getting some touch. And as Nyasha points out, he played 5 games in 2 years. Yeah, I think it might have been 3. I feel like the year he turned 17 and 18 were both injury interrupted, and then he busted his ankle, didn't play a game in his first AFL season. So I think it's 6 games in 3 years. I think it's what it was. So yeah, he's up against it, but I'm not writing him off. I think I've seen enough to be more confident than not confident. But he's not an A-grade potential, I wouldn't have thought. We're into the second half of the second innings. A single to start, I think. Ooh, 3 more lucks to get to the elusive 30, guys. Maxwell did that injury first ball. That's classic. Ryan Marrick, my West Coast hero. That's right. Where is he from again? Is he? I presume that's close to you. I feel like we had this conversation. Oh, shot. Cartwright swiped a 6 over fine leg. Do you play Bergio round 1? I think there is a slight chance of that happening. Yeah, sure. I feel like this guy has genuine AFL potential and was almost in pick-worthy form, selection-worthy form when he did his injury. That's my memory of it. Certainly in the game before he got injured. I would be quietly happy to see him picked round 1. That being said, if we've got a fit injury list, which is a completely different question, I don't think they'll take the punt and drop someone, because they'd have to drop someone half decent, like Cole, Jermaine Jones, Duggan. Like, obviously none of them are getting dropped. For the Pies, it's interesting to get as to what to get excited for next year. Obviously going back to back, but I'm looking forward to McRae getting more games as well. That's true. Yeah, there's a couple of young mids there. How did Allen go in the first season, like in the VFL? And was he playing as a on-baller? I remember when we won the flag in 18, I actually didn't want the off-season to end to start 19. Like, I was the least excited for a new season as I'd ever been, because I was just enjoying being the premiers. I didn't really care about round 1. That being said, as soon as we got into 2019, particularly around the middle part, I wanted back-to-back so badly. And when Collingwood beat us by a point, I think, in 2019 at Optus, I think I talked about this. Did I talk about this on my podcast? I remember being at a wedding in Croatia, and all I could think about was how we'd lost. I was so devastated. That's sad, isn't it? Druin, that's right. I went to school with him. Yeah, right. That's cool. What's he like as a fella? Was he a big boy? Because he lost a lot of weight, hey? Ryan Marrick was a decent late rookie for Supercoach. Got me to avoid some donuts. Yeah. Good player. I don't know how we would go for Supercoach specifically as a key forward or third tall forward, but yeah, glad to hear you had some success with him. Kicked 2 goals on debut. I want Jai Sarong to get at least 10 games next year. What position is Jai Sarong? Is he a defender? He's like key position height. Was he a key forward, drafted as a key forward? I don't even know what he looks like. I'm going to Google him. Is there a third Sarong? I feel like you told me this. I would have only heard through you. You're a big Sarong fan, generally. Just gained weight in like year 8. There you go. I can't picture Ryan Marrick fat. He's so skinny. So skinny. That's right. Yeah, there you go, Hunsey. You want him to get 10 plus games. How's he gone in the VFL though? He's better than Granger Barras. I know Barras, bro, playing as a forward. Jacob S says Connor McDonald is Rosie-like. That is a big call. Good player, but first time I've seen him compared to that kind of talent. There you go, Rogie. Yep, makes sense. I must admit, I didn't want him at 14 for West Coast. That being said, I would have taken him at 19. I just felt like... Well, for where we were at specifically, I think it's different for every club, but for where we were at specifically, I wanted genuine midfielders. And Allen was not a clear-cut inside mid. He had midfield potential. That's my memory of it anyway. I feel like he'd sort of moved into the midfield late, which means he could have massive upside, and I could be wrong. But it made sense for Collingwood, I think. There you go. Good numbers. Yeah, fair enough. Dawson has hit it out to square leg and has been caught. We have our 6th wicket. Spencer Johnson. Oh my God, Spencer Johnson went for 20 in his first over. Just noticed that. Gets his first wicket. He'll be happy with that. 2 likes to get to 30. Juicy. What was that celebration from Johnson? That was weird. Liam Dawson, the recruit, in his first game from 3, is out. We have Mia. I've heard it suggest that Amir can bat, but I don't really know. God, I hope you're right, Jacob. That would be a nice combo. That would be a nice combo. Jimby's doing everything right. He just needs to prove he can do it as an offensive mid now. Dematia and Giath and VFL, yeah. Yeah, potentially. What role do you think Dematia will play? Do you think pressure forward? That was kind of what I was thinking, but things can change when you get in the AFL system. J Dodd says big suck from Melbourne again. You're not wrong. Oh my God, what was that shot? Some of Mia's first ball was not convincing. Nyasha says we could have had Matt Johnson. This is true. I don't necessarily wish we had Matt Johnson, to be honest. I don't think... Like, is he better than Chesser? Probably, but I'm like, with Jinby and Hewitt and even Clay Hall, like, I just don't know if we need that type. I'd rather have an impact wingman. But obviously it looks more likely that Johnson's going to fulfill the potential he does have than Chesser. But Chesser, I think, has more reward for us specifically. But he's a nice sort of balance to Fremantle's mix. But he's not a player that I look at and really wish we'd taken. Ben Hobbs maybe, but I mean, he's Victorian, so... which obviously Chesser is too, but what I mean is there was a bit of talk about homesickness for Hobbs. Jacob says Sheldrick over Chesser. Maybe. He's certainly done more to date. He's just a small inside mid, so he's got some limitations, but that doesn't mean he won't be good. But again, for skill set, Chesser is arguably what we need more of right now. Outside class. Yeah, gotcha. Halfback and midfield. Yeah, maybe. Yep. Yeah, I think he's kind of played everywhere. I think he's probably played more halfback than half forward. So I don't know why I fixated on half forward, but I just feel like that suits his game. Jeez. I asked the question of whether Mia can bat, and it is early days, and I could have this completely wrong, but he looks like he is struggling. With Coulton Isle still there, I'm surprised he came out first. EKV8 says no chance Melbourne anymore. That's true. They have stunk it up. Rogie rates Jimby, do ya? I was actually more excited for Hewitt than Jimby. Again, I think I just have a little bit of a intrinsic skepticism of midfield converts until I really see them prove it. And same thing with Jimby. Like, the only thing is he just hasn't proven that he can like win the ball. Like, he kind of gets led to the ball a little bit. He's still learning the midfield craft, but if he does harness it, his athleticism in terms of strength, speed, and endurance make him an elite prospect. He's an elite athlete. Guy's a freak. I don't understand how someone can put on 5 kilos, grow 2 centimeters, and get fitter and hit PBs all in the same year, let alone like off-season, like 6 months. Like, that is ludicrous. I envy that. I do love Jimby though. Like, he seems like such a sweetheart kid. Kind of reminds me of like a cousin I have. More so in vibe than anything. So I'm happy we got him. That being said, like, I think I was more excited about the Hewitt pick, but it's nice to have both, I'll tell you that. Schultz, Elliott, Hill, and McCreary in action. Yeah, true. It's a real feature of the best teams. There's always been pressure, quality of pressure, I think, as much as other stuff. Nyasha's looking forward to the Eagles forward line. Do you reckon Brockman starts round 1, Nyasha? I had him as the sub because, you know, Ryan's in there, Cripps is in there. Noah Long's going to start ahead of him. Mac, you keep throwing numbers in there. And I don't know what these numbers mean. You said 61 a couple of times. You said 109. Are these your predicted scores for the Stars? Walters into the attack, by the way. Left armour from England. Their recruit. Nyasha has him on the bench. There you go. So who did you leave out? I'm trying to think. I'll get my team up. I've got Glass Animals stuck in my head. Let us know in the chat if you listen to Glass Animals. It's a band, if that was cryptic. Brockman better than Cripps, says Sam. Nah. Cripps finished the year was unreal. Underrated, definitely. How was the True Footy Freo boys' reaction to Schultz leaving? That's a good question. I don't know if I really heard from them. I don't know if we really talked about that. I remember Joyce saying he thought they'd get pick 19. Busher probably wanted more. Busher always wants the absolute king's ransom for Fremantle trades. I think that Lockie Weller deal really... another wicket. Cartwright's gone. I think that Lockie Weller deal just blew Busher's expectations of trades out of the window. Have you seen this SEN article on people's least favourite and second favourite teams? No, I haven't. Any good, Riley? Were there some interesting takeaways from that? Oh, you left out Long, Nyasha. Big call, man. Top 10 in the BNF. I can't see him not playing, to be honest. I just can't see it. But that being said, I do think they'll probably play Brockman as well. Maybe they're just like, drop a midfielder or something. I don't know. You know what, Rogi? I love that song for what it is, but I do agree with you. I became sick of it as well. It's not the song that I think of when I think of Glass Animals. But, yeah. It's a good song that has been overplayed to the point where it's no longer fun. I don't listen to it anymore. Harvey Johnson got big future captain vibes for me. That would be cool. He seems like such a great kid. I hope he succeeds. It's pretty speculative at this point. But gee, it'd be nice to see him do well. Because he's likable. He's inherently likable. So Walter's struck in his first over, 100 for 7. Max says, I like Pink Birds. Excuse my ignorance, is that a Glass Animals song? Because I must admit, my knowledge of them isn't deep. I just like a lot of songs, like a bunch of songs, but not every song am I aware of. Started listening to Foals again as well. Good stuff. Foals are so good. Foals. Foals. Gaff, if he's not performing, yeah. I feel like Gaff will have a bit of an improved year, though. Just do enough to get picked. Nothing special, but I think I'd be surprised if he gets dropped. Long could easily take some CBAs and do well. Pretty small at the moment. The only thing about that is that I saw him in a press conference being asked directly that question. They said, do you have, is there a chance for midfield minutes? But I think he said, oh, no, we haven't talked about that. So I don't think that's going to be on the agenda. But I think longer term, sure. Not going to lie, if there was a picture of an average Tame Impala fan, you might be it. Really? How so? I never thought of myself as the typical Tame Impala fan. But I do love Tame Impala. I presume you know that because you referenced that. I think of a Tame Impala fan having like long hair like Kevin Parker, but I suppose it is a bit more mainstream. People that look like Kevin Parker probably don't actually listen to Tame Impala as big of fans as I am, if that makes sense, or as many people are. But I would love some elaboration on that. 29 likes, guys. We are so close to the magic 30. Thank you very much for being here. But Gooey is my favourite Glass Animals song. Australian white guy. Isn't that most of us? Also including you, right? Formerly in their 20s. Look, I probably am part of it is kind of a white boy band to like. I do like a lot of white boy music, but that's alright, isn't it? Like, in the sense that like Tame Impala, Chili Peppers, and my favourite like rappers are probably Travis Scott. I feel like that's a very white boy artist to like. But his music slaps. Miguel as well. Not in depth, but skim off the top. I also listen to a lot of Drake. So, I think I've said this before, but I didn't even think I liked Drake that much. And then he was my top artist for 2022. But it turns out I really like Drake. Jesse, don't lie. How many times have you said... Oh, that's funny. You know what? Probably 3 or 4. Yeah. I was actually listening to some Tame the other day on YouTube because he does some like the Leica versions and stuff like that. And there was a clip of him asking like, "How did you come up with the word or the name Tame Impala?" And I expected something to be profound because he's such a creative genius. But he pretty much just goes, "Yeah, I just thought of it." Like, that's the extent of the name. Riley points out that Marnus has been brilliant in the field. Agreed. The Avengers or the Justice League? I am firmly in the neither camp. I am a nerd. I'm sure that comes across. But I am selectively nerdy. Star Trek? Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, Star Wars? Yes, yes, yes. Star Trek? No, no, no. A Marvel I can't do. Can't do Marvel. I do like the Batman films. I feel like that's a little bit different. I don't even like Lord of the Rings that much. I don't hate it, but it does nothing for me. Harry Potter guy, definitely. But yeah, it's just funny how I'm super selective and super into select things, but then I've got a disdain of everything else. You nerd. I think everyone's kind of like that a little bit. Is that right, Rogie? I did not know that. I was actually one of the few white people that didn't like Childish Gambino's music that much. Another wicket, by the way. As this game peters out, 8 for 108. Bartlett gets his first 1 for 5 off 2.1. That's pretty good. I think with these nerdisms, I think they've just got to, these franchises, they've got to capture you at the right age. And I think I did watch Lord of the Rings when it came out. It just never gripped me, to be fair. But obviously, like, I wouldn't like Family Guy. I wouldn't like Harry Potter if I watched it as an adult for the first time. And Star Wars is probably going to be the same, and yet it caught my imagination at the perfect time of my life where I'm now still into it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't really watch or read Harry Potter. But occasionally, like if there was a new movie coming out, I'd watch it. And Star Wars I still love, definitely. Rogue Ride says, "Is Awaken my love album?" Oh yeah, I don't even know his music well enough to be aware of the albums and stuff. To be honest with you, but I didn't really like 3005. Redbone is okay. There's no Childish Gambino song that I like as such. Lord of the Rings was just too long. Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I know what it is, sorry, but I don't know what it was exactly that made me not like it that much. I didn't hate it. It didn't capture me. Did I watch Andor? No, but everyone tells me I need to. I watched Ahsoka. I think that the hesitancy with Andor is simply that there's no lightsabers. I'm a real lightsabers guy. That being said, I've been told it's some of the best Star Wars content. My music taste fits in with the name of my favourite album this year. Scaring the Hose. By JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. Just like Bush on a Saturday night. Scaring the Hose. I've never heard of that. Only actually it was a Clone Wars convert. Yeah, true, because I presume you're a little bit younger, eh? So you would have missed the prequels, and the Clone Wars was the gap in between those two things. So that's cool. Oh. It looked like a good hit from Paris, but it fell well short. The pace taken off the ball, and they are 9 down. Corbs, who is my second favourite AFL team? I don't really have one. Teams that came to mind are probably the Bulldogs and Gold Coast and Adelaide. Maybe if I had to say one, actually at the moment, it's probably the Adelaide Crows. Despite everyone saying I hate them, it's definitely not true. Rory Colquhoun says, "Where's the mo?" I know, I decided to clean my face for a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to shave it. Well, I have shaved it, and I'll grow a gross beard. That's my next plan. Wow, 2 stock standard fantasy. Interesting. I mean, it's quite Yeah, I think you answer your own sort of thing there with it being the blueprint and pretty old. What about Game of Thrones? Are we into Game of Thrones? I did like Game of Thrones. I read a couple of the books, 3 of the books when I was 18. Batman or Batman? Or Batman? Yeah, I liked Batman. But the Nolan films are just so good that they're for adults. So, but I did like Batman as a kid as well. Love the Clone Wars show. The Darth Maul episodes were goated. Yeah, man. I feel like we might have been saying this on a previous stream, but it just felt like with Clone Wars, there was some absolute nuggets of gold in there, like Palpatine and Maul fighting. It's just like, I want to see that. And then there would be like filler episodes with like these, they go and rescue a planet full of little slave mushrooms. I'm making that up, but it was just like little missions that just had nothing to do with anything. But then there was some real narrative building, story enhancing episodes in there. Like Maul and Obi-Wan fighting again. Crazy. Nyasha like Mace Windu. Yeah, cool character. Rogi says, I love Game of Thrones and the last 2 seasons happened and now I hate it. Yeah, I don't remember being as aggressively against it. But I do broadly agree with the criticisms. I think that last season could have been stretched out to 2 and it would have been better. I do kind of like how it disappointed. I like how it didn't end as a happy ending, though. I'm cool with that. I didn't need it to be Jon Snow, but I get why like Jon Snow not being the one who killed him is kind of dumb. I do get that. I need to watch House of the Dragons again. I only got like 7 episodes in, and then my life just got busy. There we go. Final wicket taken. Swepson takes 3 for. Good bowling effort. All-round performance here from the Heat. They were comprehensively better from pretty much the second over of this game. So, it went more or less as expected. Probably didn't expect it to be that one-sided, but well done. I love the latest Batman movie. Pattinson was fantastic. He's good. It didn't grip me like the other ones. I just think Nolan films are insane, but it was good. I agree. It was very long though. If you don't want a long film, where would the Hawks stack up on your favourites list? Again, I don't know if there is a list. I'm kind of indifferent to them. I think what happens is when a team gets good as Hawthorn did get, and they also smash you in a grand final. I just kind of wanted to see them fail for a while. I wouldn't call that hate. And now I'm kind of indifferent to them again. I do know that there's a lot of Hawks fans who support True Footy, and therefore I kind of like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't feel like I have favourites or teams that I hate either. It's just West Coast and everyone else. Like, I don't even hate Fremantle that much. The only thing I'd say about Fremantle is like I just wouldn't want them to really do well. That would be annoying. But I don't barrack against them every single game they play. I don't really care. It's just West Coast and everyone else. But him and Yoda were the reason why Anakin turned to the dark side. Yeah. Oversimplification, but yes. I mean, I think what ultimately drew Anakin to the dark side was the fear of losing Padme. But you're right, that didn't help. At the end, instead of making a good story, they just tried to be good at shocking. Yeah, maybe. I'd be very curious to know how closely aligned with George Martin's story it is, because obviously they surpassed him, and surely they took creative direction. I'd feel uncomfortable if the show and the book end differently, like significantly. That would be stupid. But it is super possible. Thanks, Max. See you later, mate. Thanks for being here. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with the storylines like Daenerys turning evil, but they needed to, or going crazy. They needed to build that better. It felt like, oh, this is the way we're going, huh? But I think they were kind of damned whatever they did. I'm not saying they did a good job with the ending, but with that amount of expectation, it does influence their decision. And we now look at it, their decision making, and we now look at it as though, wow, what are the writers going to do? We don't look at the shows now. I think it's part of being an adult as well. You don't look at shows and think, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. I certainly look at it and go, oh, that's what the writers decided. Does that make sense? So we look at things differently now that we're older. This is not at all challenging your viewpoint, just some broad observations. Tame Impala and Nolan films, you really are a white guy in the late 20s. Yeah, man. And I do a podcast. Yeah, what can I say? You are what you eat. Yeah, gross. Corbs, Crows are good to watch for that offense. I'm a Cats fan with Gold Coast as my second team, thanks to Ablett. So weird, but good to see Hardwick and Suns colours. Yeah, that's true. I agree with everything you just said. Like, I agree with the Crows being exciting. I kind of think of the Crows as like the Adelaide version of us. So there's a degree of mutual respect there. Pretty decent rivalry in the sense that we had some good games over that 05-06 period. I've been to Adelaide and saw us beat them in a prelim there. That was nice. I like playing against them. Wins in Adelaide over the Crows are always special. Probably my second team right now. That's funny, Rogie. Not safe for work. Game of Thrones. Are we talking porn here? Game of Thrones porn? That is funny as hell. Oh God, Superhero Rises just said I just finished season 4. I hope I didn't spoil it for you, mate. I hope you didn't catch what I said. God, I feel bad. La. I don't dislike Port though, Rogie. Kind of indifferent. I used to hate them. But that was because they used to annihilate us, like when I first started watching footy. Yeah. Phil Walsh game was sad. I was there. Yeah, that was a crazy thing to happen in the AFL world. Crazy. Anyway, guys, I might leave it there. I might crack on with my day a little bit. I might go for a walk, get a second coffee. Oh my God. Rogan says, don't ask me how I know this. Yeah. No questions asked, man. But thank you for being here, guys. Like I said, I will be doing probably more. I don't know if I'll do one tomorrow, but I'll probably do one for the Scorchers game, which I think is on Saturday. Might give it a day's break in between. But in the meantime, I'll still be working on my AFL stuff. We'll see about cricket. I think I have a Sydney Thunder preview that's sitting on 79 views after 8 hours. So we'll see, but the streams will continue. They've been good fun. So I appreciate you guys being here. It was good fun as always, and I will see you in the next one. But yeah, cheers guys. And again, shout out Rogie. Thanks again for the donation, mate. That wasn't necessary, but you're a legend. I appreciate you. Thanks guys. I'll see you in the next one.